Happy Saturday, everybody. Center Saturday night overnight edition. Today is what is this? This 28th. Wow, dude. Russ, we were just watching Russ Royal Rumble, and it just reminded me that WrestleMania is in a little bit over 2 months. Hold on for a second. I'm having a tech issue here. All right, hold on. Just got to get Stella in here in the background. You can still. All right. Let's see who's in the chat real quick. It's probably gonna be just Prodex so far. So, yeah, we are on January 28th, Sunday, AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game. I'm not in the best of sports mood because I just watched my Lakers get screwed on national TV by incompetent fucking idiot referees who should either, at the very least, be suspended. I should not see that particular official on the court for quite a while. If players get suspended for doing stupid shit, then refs should get suspended for doing stupid shit. And they completely blew that game. So I'm not too happy. And it was the Celtics who, as a Laker fan, I believe Boston is a trash organization just because that's in my happy there. So yeah, but like I said, just finished watching the Royal Rumble. I give it a solid C. It wasn't the worst Royal Rumble, wasn't the worst pay-per-view, but it was probably the most predictable pay-per-view I've ever watched, and I've been watching wrestling for 40 years. Everything that pretty much happened in that pay-per-view you could call from a mile away. Even if it was done well, it gets to the point where if you've been watching as long as I have been watching, incredible is not a word I would use for it. I gave it a C. I gave it an okay. I would not. Incredible would no. I mean it's no. I like I said, not bad, but not great. But yeah, if you've been watching for as long as I've been watching, it was really easy to call that pay-per-view. The matches were good. The women matches, the female matches, the Alexa Bliss match I thought was one of the better matches of the night. The women's Royal Rumble was interesting. It was like I said, you've been hearing Rhea Ripley winning it the whole like the last 3 months, and then that's who won it. And then obviously Cody Rhodes, they've been building that up, for quite a while. The one thing, once things get so predictable, it's the job of the creative staff to throw you a curve and switch things up. I should not be able to call each result after another. It kind of takes away from, even if the matches are good, if you know that they lack the creativity to swerve you, then it kind of takes away from the athletic accomplishment that they're putting on the screen. But yeah, I thought that it was all right. Like I said, it's all right. But and another thing is, like I said, I watched so many other wrestling companies that if you're going to stay in the top of my mind, you got to be good. You got to be putting on 4 or 5 star matches. If your angles aren't the best and you're letting your matches speak for you, I can take that as well. But with the problem I have with the WWE is, for a really, really long time, neither one of them have been that good. Now the end of Royal Rumble with Uso and Jey Uso walking off, that made that a little bit interesting, but that didn't raise it above to, it went from a C to a C plus. But even that was predictable because of the way they've been writing this match. I mean, you just been waiting for the whole time for Sami Zayn to turn on him, and that's what he did. It's like my expectations were low to begin with, and then all they really did is just meet those expectations. I mean, they didn't surpass anything. If you could, I don't even know if you can bet on professional wrestling, but if you could bet on professional wrestling, a lot of people would have got rich tonight, because I don't know anybody who didn't call pretty much every match on that card today. So Uh, yeah, because we got ripped off, and if you watch ESPN on SportsCenter, you'll see it's blatant. And what the league likes to do is they like to. I'm looking at the Samsung Galaxy. It looks like, is that a Galaxy 22? Dade? You know that you have your phone facing the camera right now. Yeah, if you go and watch the replay, it's on ESPN. And they even listed as a botched call. LeBron James going in for what should have been the winning basket, and he was clearly fouled on national TV. You can't even argue against it. And then there were several calls throughout the game that just were really, really bad. And like I said, if you got somebody at your job that can't do the job, you got a pizza maker that can't make pizzas, you get rid of them. You got a plumber that can't fix the pipe, you get rid of them. You got a cab driver that gets lost all the time, and you get rid of them. And that's what I am all the school of thought. If you can't do your job, step aside and let some other unemployed fool take a stab at it.
Hey, William, check the private chat.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I see it. What's up? I gave you the number, right?
Yeah, you got me in, but Stella's looking for hers still. She's waiting for her number.
She's got to send it. She's got to use that.
She said she sent the Geek Daddy thing already.
Let's see. When did she do it? I'm not getting it. Hold on. Let me see this. I think I see what happened. It might require her to do it again. Let's see where's she at. Bam. All right, Stella. Check your Twitter message there. All right, so let's say hi to my 11 jet. Hello, ProSX. How you doing? Yeah, we'll discuss that. Yeah, your neighbors got ripped off. How you doing, Brian? We need to change that logo. Brian, still how are you? It's been forever. I am silent now. 49ers beat the Eagles. So yeah, I think you're gonna have a rough day tomorrow. Sorry. I think your rookie quarterback, he's had a great run, but I think it's coming to a crashing end tomorrow. And I also think the Bengals are going to get slaughtered. So, but like I said, I'm not betting any money on it. So, like I said, I'm surprised the game comes on at 12 o'clock. One of those games starts at noon, which is kind of weird. Usually when they have the AFC Championship game, one of the games is at 1, and then the other one will be later on in the evening, prime time. I don't. That's just weird the way they did it. That's why I thought they put the Royal Rumble on Saturday because the NBC would have had that flex game and they didn't want to compete, but they ended up not doing it. Sure, it was predictable at some parts, but I still enjoy it. I've been watching WWE since the late 90s and 2000s. Enjoy great moments in it. I've been watching WWE since the 80s. I mean, like I said, if you came up and it depends on how you look at it. I've been watching it since I think I saw my first WWF match in '84. So I've watched a ton of WWF, WWE, and like I said, I just go in with low expectations and look to be pleasantly surprised. This one, like I said, wasn't a disappointing pay-per-view. It was just so predictable. It was like, like it's that if you're paving the zenith of your storytelling, and they just haven't been for WWE in an awful long time. Even WrestleMania used to be it. You could fuck up every other pay-per-view of the year as long as you got the two, SummerSlam and WrestleMania right. Nobody really, paid attention to the others, the little ones, the No Way Out and the, Elimination Chamber. You could screw those up, but it was WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Lately, those have been really, really good Raws. Some of these pay-per-views have been Raw, Monday Night Raw, that are better than a lot of the pay-per-view, that they're putting a traditional name on. I mean, And then the Bloodline storyline was something that was good when it first started. I was intrigued with the Bloodline storyline. That was like 800 something days ago, man. You know, it's like shit or get off the pot when it comes to certain storylines. If you they don't all have the staying power. So that's just my opinion. Just making sure that still I can get in. All right, so yeah, I just wasn't like I said. The women's match was good. The it wasn't great. The match with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. I mean, he was basically a sacrificial lamb, but it was. I applaud them for that match because that match they were doing something different. The Alexa Bliss match didn't like the ending, but I saw how they were building up to her. Her and Bray Wyatt being basically the Mr. and Mistress of Darkness. The aftermatch with Bray Wyatt and his kooky bunch jumping off and that was kind of cool. So I'm wondering, if they're going to give that one, give that storyline a little bit higher up. But like I said, I'm kind of ready for Bray Wyatt to go up a level, just to give me something different to look at in the main event package. I have been. Yeah. Give me a minute. Yep, running the live with the center still open for another 17 minutes, and I got to give some tickets away for a Knock at the Cabin. And while we're doing that, guess what I'm going to do? I am going to promote one of my sponsors, which is Knock at the Cabin. Strangers happen upon a cabin in the woods, and they present a incredible decision to a family, and those decisions could lead to the end of the world. So give me a couple of seconds while I give away some swag for that.
Evening, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, you can hear me. All right.
Yeah, I can hear you. Like I said, I got somebody. Hold on for a second. Here.
Yeah, I couldn't find your place.
Turn this way. Say hi.
Hi.
See, she's getting her hat.
Yes.
She's getting her mug. You can get a mug too.
Okay, cool.
Get a mug.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
And so hat, mug, and you can get a poster. There's a poster.
Oh, okay. If I
behind you there, they're standing up. Look down. Look down.
Look down.
To your right.
Oh, there.
Yeah, the big giant. Knocked on the cabin on.
There's so much stuff. I thought it would be gone by then. I was like,
no, they send us tons of stuff.
Oh,
they send us tons of stuff, and they give us time tickets. Let me get your picture real quick.
Okay. Hold on.
just like you are now.
Okay.
You're fine. And say cheese.
Cheese.
Let me zoom in.
Oh.
My ring light is interfering.
Okay.
All right, you're all set. 6:15
Okay.
AMC Town Square. Be there 6:15.
Okay.
I'll be there wearing this shirt.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, go ahead. They're all working.
Okay. All right. Is that it?
Yep, you're all set.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just grab some stuff to show my show.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the kinks of running a retail store while you're doing the show, we got to hand all these out by tomorrow. So Knock at the Cabin, go see it in theaters. It is released February 3rd, next Friday. There's a mug. I think it changes colors when you put hot water in it. Knock at the Cabin hat. I don't wear I wear baseball caps, so and I pretty much wear this shirt, or if when I'm in a work capacity, and then they sent us knocking cabin t-shirts. So yeah, we've had people coming in all day. I've been signing them up. So technically the center is open till 10, so she made it like right under the wire.
Okay,
So
so it shows Stella in here, but it shows she's not connected. It says device is not connected, and she's not seeing on her side where she can connect her camera and stuff.
yeah, her devices are not connected on her end. Yeah.
What she's saying is she can't see where she, because she goes to the cog and all that to where you connect your camera and everything, and it's not. There's nothing there for her to connect to.
Ooh, I definitely see her.
Yeah, she's there, but we can't do anything until she connects her devices.
Yeah, tell her we start. Yeah.
This is the second time
because she's actually in our network. We can see her. I can't.
This is the second time she's restarted. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, wow. There's nothing else I could do to let her. All right, they will need to Cam before you can add them to the stream. There's nothing I can do on my end. StreamYard has been goofy though, but she did the right. She got the code. She got everything in. So let me see if that's her talking to me right now. Okay, sorry, that part I can't fix. We finally got her to the point where we can bring her in. Now I can't. That part I can't fix. All right, so yeah, guys, go see Knocking the Woods. I keep saying Knocking the Woods all day. That's a different movie. But yeah, Knock at the Cabin, February 3rd, starring Dave Bautista, which is why I'm going. I am extremely enjoying his ascension and his each movie he does, he's getting better and better. And this looks like one of those well thought out roles that I think that he's going to excel in. So I am actually, even though it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I'm not the biggest fan of his endings. His movies are fine. The endings, I am going to go. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for the pre-screening of this one. All right, let's see. Hey, William, send me some of that stuff. I'll pay the shipping. I'm having an issue with my shipping. I'm having stuff sent back to me, and I'm having the postage and everything that we had. We're allowed. They give you a certain amount of postage to send out. And then they pay for most of it, and then I do the other half. When people send me money for that, and I've been sending stuff out, and I've been getting some stuff back, and so I'm having an issue. Mainly with posters and boxes, like large boxes, and it's really pissing me off because as the weather gets better and our tourists start to show up, a lot of guys come in here and they buy things that they just don't want to carry around Vegas. So I've had like city, and I got to figure that out. But before I do all that, because I still got Black Adam stuff that I have sitting in boxes with return to sender on.
Yeah, well, we've got stuff that you were supposed to send me and Stella that we haven't got yet.
And it's sitting right over there. I am going to. I'm probably going to end up having to. I don't like doing this because I don't like going outside the postal system because I like supporting the U.S. postal system. But I'm getting stuff back, and then it's coming back like weeks later. Like, where the hell is it? I'm probably going to end up having to do FedEx with tracking, which means that, it could get kind of expensive. But I'll have to take a look at that, though. But I want to hire somebody that just does shipping once we get to that point where, because like I said, people come in here all the time, and we got really big, giant stuff sometimes that you just can't drag around the desert with you. So,
well, plus, if you could start selling your back issue stuff online, if you can set up an online.
Yeah, and back issues I can use those as media stuff too. So
yeah.
Okay, so where were we? Media Target check. Good, thanks, Brian. Saw Rumble, my first pay-per-view since WrestleMania 2020. 3 years, huh? Started off predictable but good. Lights Out was neat. Yeah, I did like the Lights Out thing. I thought that was, like I said, I didn't think that went off perfectly, but I applaud them. I can't be a hypocrite and say you guys are doing the same shit you've been doing for 25 years. And when they do try something new, so I thought that, and I really want to see him move up to another level. I think Bray Wyatt, I never thought he should have been. Now that he's back and he's got his angle going, people are digging his angle. Keep that going. I started watching when Bruno had the title. Dude, How old are you, Clinton? No, you didn't seem that much older than me when I saw you. Holy shit. Due to work, I couldn't watch any good surprise entrances. Let's I can't remember. I was watching it while I was watching the game and all kinds of other stuff, but I had it, up in this big screen. It's up. Nia Jax came back. She was like the last entrance. Let's see, order of entrance. All right, 2023. All right, so let's go down the order of entrance for the men's match. I'll start with the men's match. Come on, you could have done this easier. All right, number 1 was Gunther. He was eliminated by The Miz. Sheamus was number 2. He was eliminated by Killer Kross. Number 3 was The Miz, who was eliminated by Woods and Gunther. I guess at the same time. Kofi Kingston was number 4. Johnny Gargano was number 5. Xavier Woods was number 6. Karrion Kross was number 7. Chad Gable was number 8. Drew McIntyre was number 9. Santos Escobar was number 10. Angelo Dawkins was number 11. Brock Lesnar was number 12. A lot of people thought he was going to win it. He got eliminated quite early. Bobby Lashley was right after him. He got eliminated. Baron Corbin was eliminated immediately. Seth Rollins was one of the last ones. Otis, Rey Mysterio. This was what I didn't understand. Rey Mysterio's number got called. They played his music, but he didn't come out. Dominic Mysterio came out wearing his mask, implying that they attacked him backstage. But Rey Mysterio never came out by the whole pay-per-view. So I don't know what was going on backstage if there's any true things going on. So Dominic Mysterio came out at number 18. Number 19 was Elias. Number 20 was Finn Balor. Surprise entrance for me was Booker T, who, by the way, still looks good heading into 50s. He still looks like he's like wanting to get back into, start a new career. That was, he did his little spinneroonie thing. So I thought that was, and there's some nostalgia. 22 was Damon Priest. 23 was Montez Ford, or Mr. Bianca Belair. 24 was Edge. 26 was Omos, who eliminated some people and then got eliminated himself. Braun Strowman came in. Ricochet was in. Logan Paul, back from injury. He was a surprise entry. And then the Cody Rhodes was number 30. That was, to me, that was, come on. I knew he was going to be a late entry. I didn't know if he would be the 30. And then they have in parentheses never entered Rey Mysterio, which means basically Rey Mysterio can still come out and he should still be able to come out and wrestle. All right, for the women, Rhea Ripley entered in number 1, ended up winning it, so that she actually went wire to wire. Number 2 was Liv Morgan. Number 3 was Dana Brooks. Number 4 was Emma. Number 5 was Shayna Baszler. Number 6 was Bayley. Number 7 was B-Fab. Number 8 was Roxanne. Number 9 was Dakota Kai. Number 10 was Io Sky. Number 11 was Natalya, who I hadn't seen in a while. Candice LeRae was number 12. Zoe Stark was number 13. Zia Lee was number 14. Becky Lynch was number 15. Thought she was going to win it, but no. 16 was Tegan Nox. 17 was Asuka. 19 was Tamina. 20 was Chelsea Green. 21 was Selena Vega. 22 was Raquel Rodriguez. 23 was Michin. Lacey Evans was number 24. Number 25 was a surprise. I hadn't seen Michelle McCool in like 10 years. And, Mrs. Undertaker came out. She was cool. Indy Hartwell was number 26. Sonya Deville was number 27. Number 29 was Nikki Cross. And number 30 was Nia Jax. And the winner ended up being Rhea Ripley. So, yeah, a little bit on the William, I'm still pissed off at UPS for crushing my Captain Spaulding 18-inch figure into an accordion. I went to them for damages, sue them, sons of bitches. Yeah, and you know what? I'm a big supporter of the U.S. postal system because for a while there were certain people who were trying to privatize it and really tried to strap the U.S. postal system so it wouldn't be efficient. Now that that's over with, I need a little bit better from you guys, man. Like I said, I'm a huge supporter of the U.S. postal system. I go to you before I go to anybody else, but I'm having some issues. And yeah, I've had some damages stuff too when it comes to pop figures because we're big on pop figures. We do a lot of business with pop figures, and we package them with styrofoam and everything else. They're getting damaged in situations where we packed them good enough. So, I'm gonna do some follow through. Maybe it's me taking it to the wrong station. I don't know if there's a midway point, but the stuff that's getting sent back to me is a little bit concerning because it takes a while. It's not like I send it out on a Monday and it comes back on a Wednesday. It's coming back like 2-3 weeks later, and that's kind of concerning. I'm like, where's my shit going? All right, so let's see. I started watching Bruno. Hey, William. Deckard is not a human. St. Clinton says he can hear you. Anybody home? McFly. Very funny. Ryan. The only way Bengals get slaughtered is if they all have backups playing and we can hear you. Okay. I just think it's really hard to beat Patrick Mahomes 3 times in a row. I just think Andy Reid is going to have a game plan to protect him, and I just think that he's just too accurate if he's given as much time as I think he's going to have tomorrow. All these participants have all been to the top. I mean, you have the San Francisco 49ers who are back in the NFC Championship game. You have Philadelphia Eagles who just won it a few years ago, obviously, albeit with a different staff and a different team. It's the same organization. You have Patrick Mahomes, who's either been in an AFC Championship game or been in the Super Bowl, I mean, pretty much his entire career. And then you have the defending AFC champions and the Cincinnati Bengals with a very, very competent quarterback. So any one of those guys, any outcome, I just think that the home teams are going to win tomorrow. All right, let's see what are you talking about? Shifty, the bloodline sequences was good. At the end of the pay-per-view, not really. What was great about it? Be honest with you. Like I said, it wasn't horrible. I didn't flip it off. I was watching it, but who didn't predict that Sami Zayn was going to turn on them? Who didn't? All right, and who didn't predict that Roman Reigns is going to win that match either fairly or via screw job? I just, now what would have been cool is if Sam chair, and then he hands the chair to the Usos and they start beating the hell out of Roman Reigns, and then Paul Heyman starts in on it. I mean, that would have been something, but everything that happened tonight was what what they kind of telegraphed. I mean, I don't know. He's talking to Shifty. Okay. So I got you. I thought you were talking directly to me. I keep forgetting that we're in a room with other people talking. Now they should have rethought what they did at the end because folks are gonna tune over to CNN and be like, yikes. Yeah, it was like I said, I just there was nothing really special about it. Like I said, if you'd have flipped it and done like what I said, like Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman flips on people, that would have been cool. The Jey Uso, I think it was Jey Uso walking away, that kind of created, but even then that was like, okay, they set the seed for that. It's like, be a little bit more creative shit. All right. Already, because while Sami and the Bloodline could have gone longer, I'm now intrigued by what the Usos will do, especially with Jey. That part intrigues me. The other part does not. All right. The other part, the whole Sami Zayn thing with, him, proving himself and Roman not trusting him, that was predictable. That was like telling me tomorrow is going to be Sunday. I mean, the Uso part, because now that sets up them losing the tag team titles. And who do they lose the tag team titles to? And is that a WrestleMania match? Part of the angle when he walks away, that intrigued me. But the other stuff, the lead up, the beat down with Owens and Sami Zayn turning, and then that was that wasn't imaginative in my opinion. I mean, and I probably amongst WWE, I probably am in a minority, but a lot of like I said, I judge it on a little bit higher standard because I was there when they did better, so I know the difference in my opinion between what they can do and when they're just mailing it in because they know they have it. They don't have audience. All right. So Jey after what he did for Sami. So yeah, that part with Jey walking, that part might be what I, football Monday Night Raw. But at this point, it's just basically them building up. I know unless I will own up to it if I'm wrong. I know the next two and a half months is just going to be Roman Reigns holding on to that title, not defending it, and defending it in matches that I know he's not going to lose. Unless in between now and in WrestleMania, they quickly take those belts off of Roman Reigns and put them on somebody that for because we know who's the one half of the matchup. Unless they split the titles up. Because they said they could be dependent. So, like I said, it's just kind of predictable at this point. Unless they throw you a curveball and bring in someone else that takes those belts off of Roman Reigns and sets up a different match, it's just not really, All right. Hey, William, let me ask you, what's wrong with today? Because I remember a time during the Attitude Era where WCW, WWF was a must-watch. So, what should AEW, too many W's, AEW, WWE, and TNA Impact change? Well, the problem is you had awful corporations at the time. When it was at its best is when there was companies and they had to compete against each other, and talent had places to go instead of being caught in bad working situations. But once you had AOL, Time Warner, coming to the end of all that. And what ended up happening is once they sold WCW for what I consider to be a fraudulent amount of change, and you eliminated the only other wrestling company, they had nothing to compete against. And they had no barometer either, because there were 6 million people a week at Monday watching wrestling. And once there was only one, that went down half for a while. But you couldn't really, if you're WWE, what was your barometer? Who are you competing against? How do you know what to match your product against if there's nothing out there? And I think that hurt that product for a very, very, very long time. You also had a lot of talent and not a lot of TV time. And that's something that all wrestling companies really have a problem with. If you watch the Royal Rumble tonight, with the exclusion of some of the guest people that they had, like Michelle McCool, there on a daily basis, most of the roster that was in both of the women's and the men's Royal Rumble were people that are on the dollar now. They're current WWE employees. And even with NXT, there's just not enough TV time to circulate these guys in. And what they do with their TV time, I'm getting basically the same people in many cases for a while there from 2003. Brock Lesnar was literally your championship main eventer in 2003. So was Edge. But Rey Mysterio. So a lot of their talent and storylines are tied up into a certain core of wrestlers. And you're using that time, and then you got 3 hours and you got 30 wrestlers. It's just not enough time to do anything, in my opinion. I think some of these companies should cut down on their staff, to be honest with you, because, like I said, there's some guys on there that have been on WWE payroll I haven't seen. So, and when you're WWE and you didn't have any competition from 2001 to 2018, you can't really, there's no bar to raise. What else are they going to watch? You knew, even if the audience went from 6 million to 3 million, those 3 million were yours because there was nothing else for them to watch. Now you have AEW and you have streaming and you have other situations, and it is a little bit better now because, like I said, if you're in a bad working condition, then you can go to another one. That's why I don't want Tony Khan to ever buy WWE, because that would create the same shitty situation that workers had under Vince. And then the storyline suffered, the pay-per-view suffered. Another thing is there's too many pay-per-views. WWE has a pay-per-view every month, and it's just too many. They become, they're not special when you have 12 of them. And I thought that was a problem with WCW too. So how you doing, Larry? What's going on? All right. So if you listen closely, Paul Heyman told Sammy to strike Roman. I didn't hear that. Are you serious, Blake? Because I did not hear that. I mean, I have a TV right here. I didn't hear that. William, just use UPS, man. They haven't let me down. I purchased my prize Sansu 8900 ZDB receiver, and they delivered it in perfect condition. Up till now, this last maybe couple months or so, I hadn't had a problem with the U.S. Postal Service. Lately, I mean, and I'm working on it. I'm working on it because it might be the station I deliver to that does my pickup. It might be certain situations, but I've sent to several different places. I'm having an issue, so if I have to, I'll use USPS or I'll use FedEx. Remember to like the stream. Go ahead.
Also, if you guys have a question for us up here on the panel, do us a favor, guys. Put a Q in front of your question, or say question in front of your question, so we know to get to those first. That way, we're not just like showing y'all chatting in the chat amongst yourselves, because that's not something we need to bring up. We need to bring up your questions. So if you guys would do that for us, question or put a Q, whatever, and let us know.
Hold on, let me answer this. I'll go back to that. Well, you haven't seen how good things. No, I've seen. There's been incremental improvement since Triple H has taken over. Not like dramatic, but you can clearly see that the pacing and the storylines is better. The emphasis on the matches have been a little bit better. But I think there's still enough of what he took over for that's still a driving force in WWE. Just because Triple H is running things, you still, what are we transitioning to in regards to? I mean, I'm storyline that we were dealing with almost 2 years prior in the Vince regime. So the women's matches, the one thing I do think that they've done a great job with for about a year or so, the women's matches are in most cases of WWE are the best matches on the card, and they're really good matches. And they're not just best matches, best good for a girl. No, they're good matches. And period. I care about more what's going on in some of the feuds. Bayley and and Damage and Court. Those are things that that like they used to do the entire federation. But like I said, Triple H. I noticed Triple H's incremental differences, but I don't think they're big enough yet. I think there's a culture in WWE that's been in place for so long now that just having him in place, and now who knows what's going to happen now, with Vince back on the chairman of the board and who it sells to and who's going to be in the power structure beyond that. So who knows? All right, let's see. What was that last one you had it on? About DC slate on Monday. Yeah, like I explained last night, I apparently they're going to have a press event, and then they're going to release it to the general public. I went through ad nauseum last night why I think that's a mistake. I think, and I'll repeat, that James Gunn needs to be the DC Studios what Steve Jobs was to Apple. Steve Jobs talked directly to people in some way. I don't think DC has the luxury to go through the trades. The trades don't pay for shit. People who write the trades and critics, they get into movies for free. Okay, I know. I sit right next to them.
Trades are useless.
Yeah, you need to, in DC's situation, for what they've been through the last 5 years, you need to cut through the YouTubers. You need to cut through the Twitter online community, and you need to get to that other 97% that is going to lay down that cash, and they're going to be the ones that are going to prop up whatever it is you're doing. And I think that they should come first. I think there should have been a DC fandom or something. I also think there should have been an ad campaign leading up to this. You own all these networks, and using your networks, using YouTube, using all these things, and to make sure that if you're going to give it to the trades, it's at the exact same moment that the general fan gets it. I, as a upper percentile geek, I don't need to get this any quicker than the general fan does. I'm in, right? I'm a geek. I'm going to see these things. The general public is what DC has lost, not us. Not the Snyder fans, not the Snyderverse, not the anti-Snyder guys, not the trades, not YouTube. Those guys make up for a percentage that if none of those people showed up, as long as you have the general audience, you're going to make your money. All right. It's good that we're here and we have this pitch. You don't make a pitch to the lower percentage. You make a pitch to the masses. So I hope that whatever it is that they do on Monday and Tuesday is spectacular, because no matter what it is and who he gives it to, it's got to be better than what came before It must be better than what came before. And that's all I ask. If, like I said, I'm the chew toy. I have my chew toy. The one I've been chewing on forever. If you try to take it from me, I'm going to bite you if I'm a dog, right? But if you come in with a nice light up, shiny, squeaky toy, and you throw that bad about that other chew toy, and I'm going to come over and start on that new toy. And that's what they have failed to do the last 5 years, where they took something away and they didn't replace it with something better. That was their big fault. So hopefully this, when the slate is released, we're gonna get something that just is so blinding and so awesome, that gets it like, wow, I can't wait for your next words. I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to see what you have going. This sounds awesome. Let's go. Let's do it. And then I hope on Monday it begins a new road trip and a conversation that is based on expectations, anticipation, and wonder in a positive sense. This is no fun watching these guys trip over their own feet, including, this new administration who has introduced this horribly. So they got, the odds are against them. But like I said, like I was telling you last night, the odds are against me sitting here in a business that I started up with pennies and being here from 1995 till now. The odds were less than 40%. The odds were in the teens. I think the odds of James Gunn and Safran and crew being successful are 40%. Those are still high odds, though. And if they handle this Monday thing right, that can start drifting into the 50-50. And if they handle, the subsequent things right, that can start. Now you're starting to get into the favorable odds. But right now, given how they've handled this up to this point, given the, what they're inheriting, the odds are against them. So I think I hope people are honest with themselves that guaranteed success. In fact, the likelihood of failure is actually higher. But like I said, they can change all that with a tweet or a presentation. All right, what's next? Let's see. Blake's still hammering me.
There you go.
Let's see. Wrestling is much better today. We just don't have the megastar like Austin or Rock. I will agree that wrestling is much better, not because of any one particular group, though, because we have a variety and we have different tones. Like, say, if I don't enjoy the majority of the WWE product, I have other things I can watch. If I don't enjoy American wrestling angles in general, I can watch New Japan, I can watch All Japan, I can watch MLW, I can watch Lucha Libre, I can watch things all over the world. I can now with streaming, I can watch locally, I can watch indies. So if you're in Chicago, at a garage or something doing an indie, and you might be a star someday, somebody's streaming that, I can watch that. I can we're a little bit more connected and we can see matches. Like, it used to be, when you did a house show when I was a kid, you just didn't see that shit. You were hoping that there was a camera there, that somebody took it, and you might get a very shitty presentation, shaky cam when an important match. There were titles changing hands back in those. Bret Hart won his first title. He beat Ric Flair at a house show. If that were to happen today, that match would have been streamed. So it's better today because I think we have access to better stuff and more stuff. All right. So, all right. The only ad campaign DC has done so far to tell us what they were rebooting in 3/4 of the way, and that hasn't even been really anything definite. Like I said, we don't. I would not bet any money on what they're going to do on Monday because I don't know. Everybody says, "Well, they're going to do a reboot," and I hear that he's not. I mean, I don't know. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to leave myself open to him coming out with something that's really fucking cool and that I'm going to love, or I'm going to at least put me on the right direction to when we're all having these conversations, they're not miserable dregs of conversations, wondering where Superman has been for 5 years. Excluding Zack Snyder's Justice League, when Aquaman is your last well-known DC movie, it's hard to get hype for what is to come. And that is 100% true, but and that is poor management. That is literally the definition of poor management right there, which you typed. Superman absent for 5 years, and every C-lister under the sun is getting projects and getting motion pictures while your main money generators are being kept on the shelf. That's just poor management. And I understand, the one thing I am certain of is that Zaslav has prioritized the main, the main meat characters, and that was probably an instruction he handed down to them as part of them being hired. All right, how you doing, Larry? I got to listen to that, Blake. I'm not real sure. I still got it up on the screen, but yeah, if he said that, then that makes a little bit. If he did say hit Strike Robin, why didn't he do it? That would have got me going. I don't know. Well, the problem with TNA is that there is no money when they got Hogan Spike's TV parent company. Viacom was paying Hogan's salary. Yeah, that, and plus Dixie Clark, or Dixie was it Dixie Page? Dixie Carter. She was using Panda Energy's money to pay a lot of guys that were no longer drove an audience. And it became a thing with Impact and some of the smaller federations there are right now, is you have your main stars and your main people that you rotate into those main star positions, but you also have the flexibility of not having a guy that's making a whole bunch of money at the mid card that is still good. And if you're running things right, you can balance that out and you can rotate that lower paid guy, into a bigger spot. And if he draws, then you pay him big money, and then you can rotate, things out that way. With the main event Mafia and the things that were going on in TNA, you had Sting, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan. You got like $6 million salary right there. And, you had no financial structure to support that. So yeah, that was even when I was watching that, I always felt that was going to collapse because none of those guys had the work rate that they had in their prime either. So, all right. Next, here's Mondo. Let me highlight Mondo real quick. Wrestling is much better today. We just don't have a megastar like. Okay, that was what I read. This is Mondo.
I already
okay.
lined that one up. Okay, we have this one here.
You can talk wrestling offline a lot. So yeah. William, what do I have to do to get the merch from you? I just want to know where I prepay the postage and I get my stuff. Do you need my email? Wait and see what I have left over. And B, let me figure out what's going on, because like I said, I haven't had a good run yet. And it depends on who we're going to use as a carrier. If I do have to use UPS or somebody like that, then it might cost a little bit more. So I'd have to let you know. But I have to wait until the promotion is over, because I'm obligated per the studio to give it to certain, local people. So I can talk wrestling, but yeah, I mean, ask Mondo. We can talk wrestling. I know not all of my listeners are into wrestling, but I can talk wrestling until I literally run out of voice and oxygen. But December is looking like an actual good month because we get Dune 2, and then 2 weeks later we get Aquaman 2, and then a few days later we get Zack's Rebel Moon. Yeah. I listen, as somebody who is not a Frank Herbert fan, I think Dune borders me to tears as it has been presented prior to this movie. This Dune movie changed everything for me. The best science fiction spaceship special effects I've ever seen. The size of the movie is overwhelming. And the actors, I mean, you got an all-star cast, and it's like, dude, they're all doing their thing. They're all holding up the movie. And I'm ready for Dune 2. And I never thought I would utter the words, I'm ready for Dune, because at no point in my life did I care about Dune. It just bored me. The premise bored me. It's like, oh, spice, okay, yeah. But as a science fiction geek, child obligated to dive into it. And I'm like, okay. But that's all it took was an Oscar level director and Danny Villeneuve to repackage and represent it, doing it to something. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I have something to look forward to. Rebel Moon intrigues me on different levels than it does for most people. I am a big fan of Akira Kurosawa's movies. I know I butcher his name every time I say it, even though my sister, as a film student, got me into him back in the 80s. And his movies heavily influenced a lot of film directors. They influenced Quentin Tarantino, but they also influenced George Lucas. And George Lucas, if you look at Seven Samurai and you look at a lot of George Lucas's work, you look at Star Wars, and you look at Hateful Eight, you look at a lot of the film structure, and look at a lot of the spaghetti westerns too. A lot of those influences are been floating around a lot of different genres for a long time. And to me, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is a grandchild of that. People are saying, oh, it's a knockoff of Star Wars. Well, Star Wars was influenced by other stuff. And that's how it works. That's how you get good stuff. So, and from the stuff I've seen, just the stills and the art, if this movie is as beautiful as the sneak peeks that they put out, I'm going to be down for it. I love Zack Snyder's vision to begin with. And so, I'm already sold there, but this looks a little bit more than just a Star Wars.
I have to say it. I'm not real thrilled with what I've seen so far, but that doesn't mean I can't be brought in. I've just seen some stills, and I've seen that one brief teaser they had. I mean, it looked good.
Yeah, I think a trailer might help a lot of people too.
It's not hyping me like it should be.
Well, it's Netflix too, and the biggest problem that I've always had with Netflix is they got so much stuff they can never need to advertise. So the people pushing it are going to be Zack Snyder, and whenever the director or the main star or whatever is the one that's pushing, it's like Black Adam. Whenever the main person is the star is the one that's doing the promotion, I think that you're going to have a hard time getting it out there because that's generally not their job. But Netflix doesn't have people to do that because it's not the nature of their business. But I think once a trailer for Rebel Moon comes out, that might be, the dividing line as far as, that might get you going. Who knows? I mean, I'm intrigued on the premise alone, so I'm already in, but a trailer will seal the deal for me. All right, 2023 in general is going to be a good year for movies, shows in general. I hope so. I'm looking for 2023 to be less me hemming and hawing about shitty management and being excited about product. And it's starting to change. I mean, The Last of Us is one of the best shows on TV. And my conversations about that are positive. There's no, even amongst people who play the game, it's been positive. I wish there was more Game of Thrones. I got The Mandalorian coming back. There's a 2023 there's a good reason to believe that it's gonna be a banner year.
Well, there's gonna be some really banger horror movies coming this year again too. I mean, 2022 was good for horror, but 2023 is ramping up.
Pooh, Blood and Honey, February 15th, people. We're still lining up the schedules, but man, I know I'm getting close to them. Their schedules lining up for me.
Speaking of which, I have got to get with that guy. I'm going to tell him either Friday or Saturday night from Womp Stomp Films.
Let's do Saturday for sure because Friday depends. Friday's been shaky for me, and then sometimes Enosh does his show, his Black and Red, whatever, at the same time, and I don't want to put that guy in like this kind of platform with you here. So
yeah,
I would say Saturday, but whatever his skate, whatever he says.
All right,
you know what I mean. All right, maybe they can do a remake of Blade Runner. Okay, Black Star Afro. Yeah. Oh. You're flirting. Hold on, go back there. Go back to that. The Blade Runner. Maybe they can do a remake of Blade Runner since the Dune movie was able to capture the old and new audiences. Let's not do that. That old audience was an 80s movie. And even though Blade Runner is an 80s movie, in my opinion, that was decades ahead of its time. The Dune movie in the 80s was right where it's supposed to be. You look at that movie today, and it screams 1984. I'm not ready for a Blade Runner remake, man. Just give me sequels right now. Let remake Blade Runner when I'm 90. All right. When I'm old and I'm being pushed around and I'm using a straw, to call in the nurse, to ring my bell, that's when we need to make a Blade Runner. I can't, my soul can't take a Blade Runner remake. All right, go to the next one, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, because their business strategy is just put so much stuff out there that when you dive into their product, you just stay there. So when I dive into Stranger Things, I'm exposed and they're recommending so many other things. That's their marketing campaign. And you're just never coming out again. But
Yeah.
with HBO Max and Disney Plus and all the other streamers, it's they have to adjust. I'm going to say it on Rebel Moon. I would love to think it's going to be another Firefly. Oh, I don't think that's a good comparison. I love Firefly, and everybody at Fox should have been fired for how that was handled. You know, I don't get it when I look at it and I look at some of the stuff. I don't. I think this is Firefly was never meant to be an epic type thing. You know, yeah, we got a movie out of it and everything, but I think this is more is designed to be more of a big, larger than life epic thing type of thing, like kind of like doing this. Whereas Firefly was story was strength on characters and a lot of other things. That was just a very unique show with unique people, and really they Fox. I'm hyper Blood and Money, which is rare because I'm not really a horror movie person. I am. And Blood and Honey is literally promising me all 3Ds in the trailer. And there's things that probably shouldn't even be in that trailer, but they're in there. So Blood and Honey, guys, I know I send you links and stuff. I know you guys are, might be watching the show. I got to have you on.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Larry says, I highly recommend Infinity Pool. Saw it last night. Still feeling haunted by it.
Haven't seen that one yet. I
That's
saw
the new
picture.
Brandon Cronenberg.
Oh, David's son?
Yeah.
What's it even about? I've been seeing posters for it, but I don't even know.
I couldn't really even tell you until I see it. It seems weird. Is all I can really say.
Well, it's Cronenberg. Oh, William, you're old. I've heard we're human. Okay, you know what? I got an old joke. You know what? Listen, guys, everybody dies. I'm young. William, you are old. I heard you were there when human discovered fire. Yeah, I was there, and Prometheus stole fire from the Greeks. I was there. When I say give it back, you're gonna fuck things up. You're gonna burn stuff down.
I was hanging out on Mount Olympus. What do y'all want?
Yeah, Fade was there. I didn't know who Fade was at the time. But now that I hear his voice, I'm like, that's that motherfucker that was down in that mountain, wasn't he?
Yeah, man. I was hanging out with the wood nymphs, man.
I was screaming at you. Why don't you help me get the fire back? This guy's gonna fuck things up. So yeah, keep the old jokes coming, people. You know it's not funny? Dead jokes. And shit, 21 isn't guaranteed. 50 isn't guaranteed.
Hot take, Larry says Farscape is better than Firefly. Come at me.
No. A hot take. No, not a hot take. I'm sorry. I agree. I think Farscape is a horribly underrated show. I thought that show represents the Sci-Fi Channel when they were spelt right, by the way.
My problem is I've never actually sat down and watched Farscape.
Oh, that's
all the way. Like I haven't started it from the start, so like when I catch episodes, I'm confused.
I love that show, and when they split up the two Ben Browder characters in the two different ships, I really love that, and the Lex. See,
Reyes says you're Aesop reincarnated.
Oh wow, damn. Yeah, I'm giving out fables. Okay. But no, my with Sci Friday used to be some of the best nights. You had Farscape, you had the Lex, you had Stargate, you had Stargate Atlantis, Doctor Who, and then they went to Sharknado and everything died. Lex J, I hope these companies adopting and are developing popular IP take lessons from what HBO has done.
A Song of Ice and Fire.
What's ASOIF?
A Song of Ice and Fire. It's Game of Thrones.
Oh shit. You just said Game of Thrones, dude. Sorry. And The Last of Us staying close to the source doesn't mean an automatic death knell. Yeah, they stayed close enough because A Song of Ice and Fire is taking some huge liberties, and I'm okay with that. I mean, you get the spirit of the show. Like I said, I can't speak on Last of Us because I didn't play the game, but I see what they've done as far as making it relatable to they've taken this their Sunday night standards. When it comes to Song of Ice and Fire, there are things in Game of Thrones and even House of the Dragon that they've taken huge liberties with, and I'm okay with it. But the spirit of the show is there, so I get what you're saying. The source core material, dragons, kingdoms, betrayal, all that, and all the characters and the way the characters are in the books because I read them, are how they're being betrayed in the shows. Their ages may be different, but you get the gist of it. So I can agree with you. What did St. Clinton say? I'm so old. What?
I'm so old. God is my godchild.
Oh wow. He's cracking a joke on himself. If Raised by Wolves, the TV show equivalent to a sequel of Blade Runner, no. Have you seen the 13th Assassins? Yes, it feels like a prequel to Seven Samurai. That's 13 Assassins is influenced by Seven Samurai. That's why you feel that. Raised by Wolves is not a precursor to Blade Runner, or not a
Oh, here's another joke on you, man.
sequel to it. That's in my opinion. Here we go. William made the first primordial fires of the universe when he ripped one. You know what? I should rip one on air and get a match and see if I can blow some shit up. But I don't want to do the old insurance paperwork of blowing it down the store. Do you think less shows on Netflix would get canceled, especially original hit shows, movies, if marketing was better? Yeah, but it's a double-edged sword because then you're spending money on marketing instead of the content. But then, yeah, you're right because okay, you decrease the content, but the other side of that edge is the volume. That's the business model has been. It's the sheer volume of these shows, and it's like building a strong wall. You go in for Game of Thrones, you go in for Squid Game, but you stay there for a whole bunch of other stuff. It's like you coming to my store to buy this set of Iron Man cards, but you're here. And I got Iron Man comics, I got Iron Man magnets, I got Iron Man figures, I got Iron Man this and that. And then I got other stuff that if you like Iron Man, you're into that. And that's what Netflix does is the sheer volume of what they produce and what they have. It's like a Venus flytrap. Once you get in, it closes up and they don't want you leaving. And so I don't know how much of that business model they can adjust. It's going to be interesting because they're going to have to make that adjustment because when Netflix came out, there was no competition for them. William, did you watch Willow? I tried. I stopped at episode 1 because I ran out of time and I had some other shows to watch. I'm going to need to give it a little bit more time to see if I like it. I have enjoyed
it was pretty good. Stella and I watched it. I mean, there were some issues, but it was okay in the long run, I guess.
Like I said, I could see myself getting into it, but I need more time. Let's see. Don't forget, Dark Tower Book 5 was influenced by McSibbett. Yeah, there's a lot, dude. I mean, I'm gonna do one of these things I get back to doing.
Dude, seriously, we need to do influences stuff, like stuff that influences other stuff, man. With the Sci-Fi Center Presents,
especially Kurosawa and Seven Samurai alone.
Well, Seven Samurai influenced Star Wars.
Yeah, it's influenced a lot of spaghetti westerns, the good, the bad, and ugly. There's so many movies, you'll feel it. And this one little old man from Japan did all of that. All right, what was that next? Thanks for being a good sport, William. Love you, man. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm alive.
Cylon says that Willow was complete trash and ending made no sense on many levels.
Dude, okay, guys, remember, Cylon Scotty is harsh. All right?
Yeah, he is.
Cylon Scotty is like the Chef Ramsay of shit. He's like,
we love you, Cylon, but you think most shows are the dog's bollocks, so.
If you meet the Cylon Scotty standard, you're really doing a good job because he's ready with the hatchet, boy.
I will say this: the princess gets on my fucking nerves. Sorsha's daughter. Oh my god.
Who plays her? Is that the one with the girl that from?
That's the dark short hair girl.
Okay. Yeah,
she's just annoying as piss, man.
I think it has potential, but I only got to one episode. I'm so far behind. Oh, guess what? It's Saturday, and the guy in the studio he has a studio not built for a studio. He's going to work again. Can you hear it? Shake it. It just makes me. When does your lease expire? Anyway, go. I like aspects of it. I mean, like have you seen
Kagemusha?
Yes, I have.
I have seen most of Kurosawa's stuff, so
I've read. I'm reading it because I had to watch it in some serious subtitles. And I bought that was on. I had that on VHS.
Aaron has an interesting thought here. All these canceled shows should be saved by Tubi. If Tubi did that, the service would be bigger. Would be a bigger streaming service. She's right in a lot of ways.
You would need to generate ad infrastructure. So that's you're right, but it would take some a business structure, ad revenue, and I don't know if they could remain free.
I'm actually thinking, William, since everybody's bringing up Kurosawa stuff, when I start my Twitch streams, I'm going to be doing watch parties over on my Twitch. So we need to throw some Kurosawa films on the Twitch streams, and you guys come and watch Kurosawa films.
I need to get on Twitch. I'm on Twitch. I have an account, but I haven't done anything on it. But there's some stuff like the other night, people brought up Metallica and Justice for All not having any bass, and I really didn't notice. I didn't have a problem with it until 2018, and I immediately wanted to go to YouTube and start playing Metallica, and then the whole stream would have got shut down. Okay.
Well, you can get away with a whole lot more on Twitch than you can regularly.
That's what I'm understanding. So I think I'm gonna have to get down on Twitch. Infinity Pool spoiler free synopsis: rich people at a resort in a fictional country with super strict laws, including a death penalty, but the rich can be cloned. So instead, oh wow, that's jammed. That's fucked up. Wow. Hey, welcome to the world. By the way, you're being executed. I get it now. Infinity Pool. That makes sense. Wow. What a loser society. Silent Scotty's like, go watch Farscape. Yes, really watch it. And watch it in succession. It gets better. It evolves. By the time, I think there were 4 seasons. By the time they got to season 4, because it was an Australian show. It had evolved to a point. I really love that show. And the Lex, which is a weird show. I love that show too. Like I said,
Lex. I watched Lex.
Yeah. And that Sci-Fi Channel from 2005 to like 2011 was the best, man. They bought back Doctor Who. If it wasn't for that run, we wouldn't have Doctor Who, because Doctor Who was not on the air until Sci-Fi Channel bought it. BBC was producing it still, but they bought it and put it on American TV again. And that's how you were able to get number 10 and number 11, number 12, and 13 and 14. So that was when it was at its best. But yeah, Sci-Fi Channel now. Once I saw Flying Sharks, I'm like, okay, well.
The best thing on Sci-Fi Channel right now, besides the Chucky TV show, which was really interesting, is Resident Alien.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard
that one is hilarious.
All right, let's see.
Okay, so he says, Scotty says, Lex and Farscape are my comfort shows.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I really love Farscape. I had all the figures too. The Lex and the Farscape figures.
Yeah.
I really love that show. And I had the ship. I love that show. I missed that show. And then once Lex was done, they bought Claudia Black and Ben Browder over to Starscape, or Stargate. All right, will it require or Rosenbaum? Who's the best? Ooh, dude.
As Luther, who's the best Luther? I say Rosenbaum.
I'm gonna say Cryer, but that's not by much.
Rosenbaum had the most time to play Luther ever, and he did it well. Cryer had a couple of years, and he did okay, but not as good as Rosenbaum. Welliver, where is Welliver playing Luther?
What is he? Hold on, I'm looking some. Nah, I'll look that up later. I'm trying to make sure I'm not freezing.
Okay, so.
Am I freezing?
Oh, that's a hot take, my friend. I never liked Doctor Who. That's a hot take.
It's not for everybody. I've been watching Doctor Who since the Tom Baker days
Yeah.
because my teacher would bring in the TV into school and we would watch Tom Baker because my teacher grew up with an Air Force family, so she loved Doctor Who and she had us watch it.
I grew up.
And that's how I got into Doctor Who.
I grew up a lot of my formative years in Britain, so I knew who Tom Baker was. He's my favorite Doctor still, even.
And see, for us Americans, we didn't have access to previous Doctors.
Yeah, we did in the 80s, though. We did.
Yeah, well, that's Tom Baker was 1974 to 1981. So that's how we got him. He was the first Doctor that was started because they broadcasted him on PBS.
Yeah,
because PBS had a deal. So yeah,
we got him.
We got
him, and then we got the guy right after him.
Yeah,
on PBS. Mr. Sprigg of
what's the guy's
Life.
name? But his son-in-law is David Tennant.
Yeah.
Number 5, the 5th Doctor.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of his name? But he's very cool. He comes out to conventions, and so they're married. And then after that, after Sylvester McCoy, I mean, he's this guy. The ratings started declining and everything else, and it was off the air for like 15, 16 years. So, all right, Larry, I also think you guys would love this last one, Possessor. I haven't seen that. I've heard a lot about that, especially you, William. It's about hitmen taking over other people to assassinate targets. It's brutally violent. Okay, I'm down. You had me at violent. At William, Enoch sold said on your comment section, and Injustice for All was low base. YouTube has videos of the mixer saying Lars told him. Yeah, I saw in the comments you guys were going back and forth. But like I said, for me, when I grew up listening to Injustice for All, I didn't have that. I didn't feel like I was being, robbed of bass. Harvester of Sorrow. That to me is a guitar bass driven song. But like I said in the comics, we all experience this music, these songs differently. And I, like I said, until 2018, I did not really know it was a real, uproar over the lack of bass. And I just listened to it, All right, Red Dwarf is better than Doctor Who. No, it is not.
But it is good. Red Dwarf is good.
Yeah, it's its own thing, but yeah, it's not better than Doctor Who.
And Stella says it was Peter Davison.
Peter Davison, that's right. Peter Davison, who is the father-in-law of David Tennant, and who is the step-grandfather of Tennant, who played the king in House of the Dragon, the one who was jacking off on the terrace before he got replaced by another actor.
Yeah, that's David Tennant.
Yeah, Doctor Who isn't for everyone. I remember when I worked in the HLZ back in Afghanistan, my sergeant put me on to Doctor Who, and I got hooked. Yeah, man. I mean, I love Doctor Who. Got hooked on a lot of shit, and when you get deployed, dude. Being deployed with the military is not like it is in the movies where you're sitting in the jungle or some shit, or you're you're in a berm with your rifle aimed at some unknown enemy. You're most of the time, even the infantry guys, most of your time you're rotating in and out. You're sitting on tarmacs, you're sitting in tents, you're sitting in places, and you had your laptop and you dove into the ends of the internet when you had the opportunity, and sometimes you'd be on for 12-hour packed schedules where things really hit the fan. But then, you'd work 3 or 4 days and then you'd have 3 days off, because the rest work cycle. And you'd be sitting watching every fucking TV show you could watch, man. Every movie. There was movies I'm like, I'm never going to watch this movie. But when you're sitting in a tent and you can't go anywhere and it's sitting there in a stack because your tent mate has it, and you're like, you know what? I can only watch this movie so many times. Let me pop this in. And, there you go. So you get into a lot of things. Doctor Who was originally teaching history to young school children in the UK. I could see that because that's how my teacher presented it to us in the first grade. So yeah. All right. Any more old jokes in here? Stargate Atlantis is better than Firefly and Empire Escape. I love Stargate Atlantis. I don't know if I would say that. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. What else we got?
They're just talking to each other right now in the chat. Then Bell says this. Y'all
All
remember
right,
that
y'all remember Doctor? Yeah,
That's the Weeping Angels.
the Weeping Angels. Oh yeah, that was dude. When they first brought them in, and they used them over several doctors, and they got more terrifying. I have to say,
Have you
in
ever
a
heard of the
way,
SCP Foundation?
SCP.
SCP, Secure, Contain, Destroy. It's a Reddit that ended up becoming like this big like multi-story thing. There's a creature in the SCP Foundation logs that's just like the Weeping Angels. If you look at them, he stands there, but if you turn your back, they get you.
Yeah, and I just love the premise of the Weeping Angels, the way they were time locked, and then they started getting things and shit, and they're like, and they wrote them so well. Every iteration since they came out in the 10th Doctors, but Matt Smith I think used them the best. I think Matt Smith is the best doctor. Matt Smith had the best stories. He had, and all the doctors I watched in my childhood and all the way up to growing, me.
Dude,
Matt Smith.
I tell you what, on
the Pandorica Opens is exquisite, best Doctor Who.
I tell you what, with Doctor Who, the thing that I remember the most is like whenever I hear that theme music for Doctor Who, it reminds me of when I was a kid in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like it reminds me of Saturday nights in the 80s.
And we did Doctor Who. We took all the Doctor Who's and we started with an Earthly Child, which is the very first episode of Doctor Who, and we have what was called Doctor Who Fridays. And every week we would show the serials because when Doctor Who first came out, it was released on Friday night every night, and it was released in half-hour serials or half-hour shows. So each story arc would be a half hour to it. So we would watch the whole serial. So like an Earthly Child or the Rise of the Cybermen. Even though that story was originally aired over a month, we would take 2 hours original episodes, and we would give away Doctor Who cutouts and stuff like little QB crafts, and we would give you a TARDIS, and people would build them, and it was fun. I mean, we watched every single episode of Doctor Who.
All of the things that remind me, like Saturday nights and Sunday nights, my dad always had PBS on. When we lived here in the States, when we moved back here to the States, my dad always had PBS on. And Saturday nights was like Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, Space 1999.
Oh wow!
Stuff like that. And then
Space 1999. Space 1999.
And then Sunday nights were like British comedies, like To the Manor Born, Good Neighbors, stuff like that. Like that was the 80s
Rising
for me,
Gap.
But
yeah,
again,
we
like
had. That's when for us A&E started popping up, and when A&E first started for here in America, that's all they had was British television shows, and then you would see them on there. And then now that you look at A&E, you think of the First 48 and crime dramas and stuff. But when A&E first was owned by Viacom Network, and they would split it, so some networks would have, or some territories would have Nickelodeon. And then at 5 o'clock, you would lose Nickelodeon. Like some areas got Nick at Night, but not everybody got Nick at Night. What would happen is it would switch over to A&E because different areas had different contracts. So yeah. All right. So let's see. Who do we have? We're still talking to each other.
They're still talking to each other. Oh, Stella says, I use the TARDIS sound effect. Appear, disappear as my closing store time warning.
Oh yeah. And then we used to have a walk-in TARDIS. Somebody had built a walk-in TARDIS for us, and you could walk in and it had a tablet. It had the rising and things. It had all the lights and everything, and you could close the door just like you could close it. And somebody ended up buying that. I'm going to build another one.
Okay, see what we got here. What sci-fi fantasy crossover other than Star Wars, Star Trek did you want to see? I think Stargate Atlantis or Andromeda. That would be interesting. Crossing Andromeda with anything Stargate.
I never got into Andromeda. I love Stargate. I would resurrect Stargate again.
Okay, so Clinton asked me if I lived in the Bay Area. No, I lived in Texas when I've been here in the States. I lived in Texas or New Jersey. Over in Britain, I lived in a place called Ipswich.
What's it called?
Ipswich. It's a little town in Suffolk. It's on the coast, on the eastern coast.
All right. Still no, they were called Weeping Angels, by the way. Bell.
And then Aaron says, I like Stargate Universe more than Atlantis. I never did get into Universe.
Well, you didn't have
and
that
I've barely
time.
seen
Shit, it was
Atlantis.
over before it began.
And I've barely seen Atlantis. The only Stargate I've really seen besides that first movie was the original SG-1.
Oh, with the truth, the Ark of Truth.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just making sure I'm watching us on YouTube, making sure that I'm not freezing again.
Stargate is superior to Andromeda. I agree. So
It is. It is.
Doctor Who raised by
Doctor Who
raised by wolves.
Who.
Doctor Who all the way.
Okay,
Raised by Wolves was good. Don't get me wrong, but Doctor Who even better.
Yeah, well, Doctor Who's his entire legacy there. It's like a 50, almost 60. Actually, it'll be 60 years next. Oh no, it's 60 years this year.
60 years this year.
I have to do my 24-hour Doctor Who special.
We've got the anniversary this year.
Yep, November 22nd.
Yep.
If you guys just some trivia for you guys, the original episode of An Earthly Child aired on the same day that John F. Kennedy was shot and killed. And it was a pilot episode. They actually re-aired a different version, an altered version of An Earthly Child, because they didn't like the way it came out and they were kind of pissed off about the ratings. But then they realized what was going on, across the world, and even Britons were paying attention to the assassination of JFK. So the very next week was a altered version of An Earthly Child, but the actual anniversary for Doctor Who is the same exact day. Friday, November 22nd, that JFK was killed. And you got to remember, there's a time difference. So while JFK was being, that news was hitting the air here in America, Doctor Who was airing in prime time, so nobody watched it.
I want to answer this with Clinton. The PBS station we had here in Texas out of Dallas was called KERA, and they had that same lineup in the 80s on Saturday nights. Blake 7, Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, Space 99, Star Cops. That was like the thing right there. That was the lineup for Saturday night on PBS.
Does anybody remember The Third Eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
PBS.
Yeah, William Hartnell was the first Doctor Who.
Yeah, PBS was interesting.
Yeah, it's like I said, if you wanted a taste of Britain, you could damn sure get it through PBS.
Oh,
the very first Doctor Who.
William Hartnell.
The very first person to say Doctor Who, by the way.
Sean Pertwee's father was the third Doctor? Second or third Doctor?
No, Sean Pertwee was the third. Was the second.
Was the second. Well, his son's an actor now. He played
his son's an actor, and I think his son has done some Doctor Who, but I don't think he's been a doctor yet.
Yeah, he played Alfred on Gotham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just legendary stuff when it comes to Doctor Who. All right, so let's see.
Again, more PBS. Just say it because this gets me started. Like my weekends when I was a kid, my dad would have PBS on all day, Saturday and Sunday. It was cooking shows, Victory Garden, Antiques Roadshow.
The guy's driving his motorcycle out here so loud it's setting off car alarms.
Okay, Stella put it here.
He's driving his Harley. Look at this.
Oh, I hear it. William. Stella's got the order right here. Second was Patrick Troughton, not Pertwee. Pertwee was the third.
Yeah, Patrick Troughton. That's right, with that weird hairstyle.
Yeah.
The third was Pertwee. And then the fourth,
Baker,
obviously, was Tom Baker.
And then
Peter Davison.
Peter Davison. Then it was, oh God,
was it Sylvester McCoy?
Sylvester McCoy, I believe.
I used to have a point where I could do it in my sleep, but it gets easy after that. Doctor Who.
Okay, the 14 doctors in order. The 14 doctors in order were William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Sean Pertwee's father, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker.
Colin Baker, that's the one I missed.
Then you had Sylvester McCoy. Then you had Paul McGann in the movies, in the TV movies. Then you had the War Doctor, John Hurt.
Christopher Ellerson.
Then you had Christopher Eccleston.
Oh, that's right.
David Tennant. Then you're Matt Smith. And then Peter Capaldi, who I never connected with.
Yeah, Jodie Whittaker.
And then Jodie Whittaker. And now we've got Shuti.
You technically have David Tennant again.
Well, technically.
And the War Doctor. Oh, dude, this is like a war I fight with other Whovians. Technically, by order of the doctors themselves, the War Doctors. And remember, dude, I remember watching the Day of the Doctor, which was an epic experience because we did a 24-hour marathon that led into that.
Oh, and
we watched it live.
Stella says, "Don't forget the Peter Cushing movies."
Does they count him as a doctor? Well, no, because he's the first Doctor. He's playing the first Doctor. Yeah, I know the movies. Yeah, but I think he counts as the first Doctor, if I'm not correct, right?
Yeah, he counts as William Hartnell.
Which was weird. Why not just? What's William Hartnell pass? When did William Hartnell pass away? He passed away not too soon after that, right? After he stopped being a doctor.
Hartnell passed.
I think it was 66, wasn't it? Oh no, he was alive up till 1975.
He died in 75.
How old was he? Wow, he was only 67. That means he was only in his
yeah, he was 67 when he died.
Wow, dude, that guy. You see how this guy had a storied career. Wow, oh my goodness. If you look at everything he did up to Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
Man, this guy was an accomplished wizard before then. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to have you take over today because I got to run to the restroom.
Okay.
So talk about stuff that I normally wouldn't care about. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, Scipio, Masterpiece Theater was hosted by Alistair Cook for a long time, for like years.
Oh, I remember that. Hey, remember Family Film Festival?
Yep.
That was filmed here in California. I'll be right back.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember Masterpiece Theater, which was really cool. God, just about anything PBS I could talk about right now. Anything from like the late 70s to the middle 90s. Ugh. So, questions, comments, salutations, anything? What if Ewan McGregor were to play the new Doctor in Doctor Who? That'd be interesting, but it's not happening. The new Doctor is something Shuti. Where's that dude at? Shuti Gatwa is the new Doctor Who. Yes, I used to watch Kolchak the Night Stalker a lot. I also watch stuff like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, The Hollow Crown. I think I recall this one, but I don't remember. About what time period did that come out, do you think? Because there was a time where I went away from PBS for a little bit. Do you guys remember a show called Night Gallery? Everybody's talking about the old stuff like Kolchak. Does anybody remember a show called Night Gallery? That show was awesome. It was like the extension for Twilight Zone. An amazing show. I love how Doctor had a different sonic screwdriver. My favorite part was when Jodie made herself one from spare parts on Earth. That would be cool. I never watched much of Jodie though. Okay, 2012 to 2016. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to PBS at that time, buddy. Silent Scotty, good. You love Night Gallery. Oh, awesome. Something we agree on. Larry, you actually can. There, I believe it's on streaming. Hold on just a minute, and I'll let you know that. Larry. It is not on streaming, but you can pick up episodes of it on YouTube. Yes, there was a Friday the 13th show. There was also a Freddy's Nightmares show. That Friday the 13th show though had nothing to do with Jason. It was just a really cool concept about a curio shop that had cursed items. That's unfortunate, Aaron. Red Dwarf was like one of my favorite things when I was younger. Ooh, that's cool, Stella. You never told me that. Great. Something else we can look at. Be interesting to see if I can go to Blood and Honey movie in the theater. The closest theater is 20 minutes away from me. One showtime too. Ooh, good luck, Taylor. Good luck.
Oh yeah, they're only filming it in limited.
Okay, so Thade, what do you think we will hear from James Gunn? We're definitely going to get. They're going to talk about Superman. Probably. He said he wasn't going to have a major announcement on that, but he would say something about it. We're probably going to hear Peacemakers coming back. We're probably going to hear.
That's already been announced. That's already.
Well,
Peacemakers
we're probably going to hear that Peacemaker's going to continue. We're probably going to hear like stuff like Suicide Squad's going to continue. We're probably going to hear some more about the Batman stuff maybe on Monday. The Reeves versus Batman stuff. What I'm hoping we get is something on the Trinity, something on Superman, something on Batman, something on Wonder Woman. That's what I worry about.
Yeah, I don't. If they give me anything about Matt Reeves, I don't care right now. That movie's so far along. I don't care about Peacemaker 2. You've already announced the sequel to that. I don't care about anything that's pre-existing unless you're going to tell me how that ties into what you're doing. That needs to come first. All this other stuff, I mean, you can say that for another press conference, but everything that comes out of his mouth right now needs to be what we are doing going forward. First of all, I need to know, are we dealing with a multiverse or not? If we're dealing with a multiverse, good. I'm down with that. What is the baseline? What are we doing with what we have? To me, that's going to be important for me being even interested in anything else he has to say. Because no matter what James Body tells me that they're going to do on Monday, I have a history of DC not following through. And even though this is different people, there's still corporations, there's still stockholders, there's still people who get panicky when they don't make quick money. So I'm gonna need to see a logical path forward that can actually be sustainable. So, like I said, I don't want to hear about anything that I don't want to hear about the Suicide Squad at all. I don't want to hear about Peacemaker at all. I don't right now. I'm 2 years away from caring about the Batman. He doesn't even have a script yet for that. I know I'm not going to get an actor for Superman, which is fine, but I need to know what's continuing, what's not. Do we have a multiverse? If you come out and straight up say we're still working under the multiverse premise, then you're going to give yourself a lot of room to work with. But if you say that this is, it's a finite whatever, and I hope he doesn't talk himself into a box,
Yeah. I fear he's going to. Though. I fear he's
shit out of me. Sorry.
I fear he's going to though, talk himself into a box.
Just like I said, James, if you're watching, you don't have to do exactly what I want. Do what you're going to do. My only requirement that it is better than what came before. You guys are brought here to improve things and make things better. So if another Man of Steel movie, the universe you're giving me has to be better than that. If I'm not getting any Zack Snyder or anything else, whatever you give me has to be a universe above what you're taking away in order for you to pique my interest.
And I will add
if you do that, I'm down, man. I'm in.
I will add this to what William's about to say. he has got to bring it.
Yeah.
And he has got to be exact with what he brings. Otherwise, I'm done. Completely. I mean, I'm already halfway out the door. I'm already leaving. My money's going away. Now he's got to bring me back. He's got to show me that one last item in the back drawer, in the back holding section, whatever, that's going to bring me back in the door. Because if he doesn't do that, pobrecito, I'm done.
Yeah.
Stella says, I still wish a crazed yak would eat Toby Emmerich shorts while he's wearing them.
Well, the best thing about Toby Emmerich is that he's gone, or that he's no longer in the DC power structure, which is the best thing about Toby Emmerich.
I wonder how people would react if DC already filmed a Superman movie without Henry, then announces that it's coming in November.
They have it. It would have been impossible because he wasn't even employed by the company in that regard, and that would have never been kept secret. You would have never been able to keep that secret.
Did anyone get into Babylon 5? Because I didn't mind that show. Some say DS9 was a ripoff of Babylon 5. That's conjecture. Babylon 5 was a good show.
They had a lot of similarities that were built into a space opera war. Yeah.
That was a good show, though. I liked Babylon 5. I actually met Walter Koenig, not because of Star Trek, but because of Babylon 5. He played Bester.
Yeah, he can actually go to 2 different conventions.
Why such the extreme take? Because I'm done. They have mismanaged DC for 30 years. You get the same story reprocessed every 5 to 10 years. We get an origin story for Batman. We get an origin story for Superman. I'm done. We need to move on from these origin stories.
Well, for me, it's the fact that it's just like the 9 years has been abysmal, but the last 5 years have been so mismanaged. I'm more concerned about the general audience because for me, if he comes out Tuesday and it's not interesting, I'm just going to disengage. We've shown, like I said last night, we've demonstrated that we can talk other things besides DC films. If there's nothing to talk about that intrigues me, I'm just not going to talk about it anymore. You know, really. I have HBO Max. If I want to give it a shot and I don't feel like, if we're not promoting them and I don't feel like spending the money, I'm 45 days. I'll watch it on I got a giant, 20-foot movie screen. I can set it up out here in the parking lot and watch it if I want the big screen experience. But I'm not going to get emotionally invested into something I'm not interested in. I'm not going to hate, and I'm not going to be one of these crazy fools, but I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm not down with that. And, but like I said, I'm leaving myself open. What came before you. If all the critics wanted something beyond what Zack Snyder did, something different, then what comes better be better. And I'm not just saying I'm waiting for it to fail just because I'm going to knock it. I am going to approach it with an open mind if it intrigues me. But once again, when you take something away from somebody and you don't give them something equal or better, that is where you fail. That's why James Gunn even has a job at DC right now, because the previous regime took something away and they weren't capable of putting out something better. All right. If they would have put out something better, we like I said, the dog's putting down his mangy chew toy and he's picking up that nice brand new one you brought in from PetSmart, but he didn't do that. So this is where James Gunn has to. He is coming into a situation to where he has to, and it's not fair, but he took the job. Peter Safran took the job. So you blow me away on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is. Take me off my feet, and you'll have me for the rest of your tenure with DC.
Yeah, just wow me.
Be honest with that.
You got to wow me.
Yeah. All right. I did not watch Space Above and Beyond, and I tried with Battlestar Galactica. People say that's the greatest TV show of all time. I was not listen, I love Ronald B. Moore's storytelling. I didn't like it there. It just was long and drawn out. I just couldn't engage with the characters, but I know I'm in the vast minority when people love Battlestar Galactica, and I've never really knocked people for liking it. It just never moved at a pace that engaged me. All right, I don't mind backstory type movie in the beginning of the film, but I agree the origin story isn't necessary. Now, origin story isn't necessary, and you got to be super careful because you're redoing these characters while the generation that is still able to make movies is still around. Cavill is still capable of playing Superman, and you're replacing him. So right there, you've decreased your odds for success because you're doing what's an intergenerational reboot, which reboots in general. And this isn't my opinion. This is, you can just go ahead and run them through your head. Reboots usually fail. Very rarely do they succeed. Because generally the reason why you're doing a reboot in the first place is because you probably didn't have the aptitude to fix what was there to begin with. So you decided, you know what, rather than use my imagination, I'm just going to blow this up and make it mine. So you're already starting on a bad foot to begin with. So you're trying to get success out of a failed first step. So reboots generally fail to begin with. I tried Outlander seasons where Ron D. Moore was a showrunner. I don't know, man. I got too many shows to get into now.
Outlander's a pretty interesting show. Stella's introduced me to it. It has to do with time travel through these like magical.
Is that porn? The show where they're always banging?
Dude, what show isn't about banging, bro?
Yeah, but that's the show that I hear about from people who aren't even in the science fiction. They're like, "Oh, I knew you were into science fiction, William. You watch Outlander?" I'm like, you guys getting me into some chick flick that has science fiction wrapped around it? I mean, come on, man.
Okay, let me explain something.
People really
here,
need to chill with their expectations.
Patrick, let me explain something to you. I've been waiting for 30 years. That's a long damn time. It's bad when the animated DC movies and universe are hellishly much better than the live action stuff. And I'm not saying I don't like some of the live action movies. I do. But it's the same rehash every 5 to 10 years, and I'm just not with it anymore. I need something further on. I need Superman further down the road.
I'm going to give you a different answer because my answer is going to be way different. And here's why. You've run out of time in Goodwill. I don't think people need to chill on anything. They've invested the time, and the time was wasted. So now they created a credibility issue by the way this has been handled. So if something is coming, I'm sorry, his slate has to be excellent. He does not have the margin for error. He does not have the luxury of his predecessors. He does not have the luxury of Marvel. When they took these jobs, they had to have an understanding that you are coming from behind, and you are coming from go back to his comment real quick. Patrick's real quick. Oh, here we go. I got it. Yeah. Okay. The expectations need to be high. Don't take the job. All right. If you can't meet the expectations, precede James Gunn. They precede me. They precede all of us. The expectations have been built over the last 8.5 decades. They don't change. All right. And that's what all these guys need to understand. You and I don't set the expectations. The expectations are where they are. Now, what the predecessors could not understand is that they inherited those expectations. It wasn't up to them to rise to the level. You either rose to the level or you were going to, they failed to rise to the level. They fucked things up. Now, anybody, whether it's James Gunn, anybody who is going to assume that captain's chair needs to understand that those expectations are already through the roof before you even step foot in the office. And if you can't accept that, then don't take the job because those expectations are not coming down for anybody. Not for James Gunn, not for us, not for fanboys, not for YouTubers, not for Twitter heads. Those expectations were established before any of us were alive, and they stay there. And if you're not going to meet those expectations, and there's no such thing as, well, those are too high. No, then don't take the job. All right. If I'm bought into a corporation and I'm given a man, and that corporation is faltered, and that corporation has decades of history and it had a bad couple of years, and I come in and I take over that organization, like, okay, I'm a sports team. I mean, we won't use too many, but if I take over an organization that's the Lakers and I get It's about championships. And if you don't win them, you're fired. I didn't set that expectation. The organization set that expectation by their performance and their history. History sets expectations, not fans and not producers and not directors. The expectation is not ours. It's already there. So the incoming person, people, or whoever need to make a decision. You're either going to meet those expectations or don't take the job. It's that easy. So there are no such things as too high expectation. Now, you can say that there's such things as a box office and things like that. And if you have high expectations quality-wise, your box office may not be there. And I'm totally fine with James Gunn coming out and putting out the best movie that he possibly can, and the box office not being there yet. But the expectation is that at the end of the day, it will be, or they're gonna move on. So like I said, people don't have that. DC had expectations long before any of the people involved were alive. All right, next.
Okay. Also, Cavill was so passionate about being Superman. If they get a younger actor who isn't as passionate about the character, it's already worse, in my opinion. I agree, Larry. I agree.
I'm not too sure on that one. I know I agree with the former that not only was he passionate about playing him, he was still capable and he was still popular enough to continue with him. But you know what? People keep saying that DC was broken and the only way to fix it is a reboot. If you're brain dead, maybe you can't look at what was there. Eliminate the last 5 years, maybe eliminate the Huntress and Birds of Prey and stupid shit like that, and get back to the Trinity. I still think there was a market there. But hey, if you want to start over, cool. But now that pressure is self-inflicted. So if you're going to restart in the same space that something else already exists, it is incumbent upon the people who are doing the restarting to outdo what they were replacing. It's like when you hire somebody for a job. Once you fired somebody for a job, your expectations of that person, or else you would have just kept the same schlep you just got rid of, right? Expectations are not in the control of fans or people. They are pre-existing things. You either meet them or you go the fuck home. That's all there is to it.
So you guys would complain about naked women and people having sex would bother you.
Oh, no. Listen, I'm a modern man. I'm not into gratuitous nudity.
Yeah, you are. Reboots and remakes are dangerous territory because backlash happens sooner rather than later. Animation has been better by far. Yes, it has. Now, William may not agree, but I do.
The newer animation is not bad. Like the Justice League Unlimited is not a bad show. I have no problems with Justice League Unlimited. 90s animation, let me clarify. 90s animation is pure fucking garbage. Now, reboots and remakes are dangerous territory because of that. Yeah, and like I said, when you say that I'm going to operate and do a transplant of an organ, look where you're starting at. Why are we transplanting that organ? Because it's damaged, right? So you're already starting in a very perilous place. Your damage is already there. You're trying to do a stopgap and replacement. So when you do reboot, the first thing that tells you that reboots don't work is why are you doing the reboot? All right. 2, do you have the brand trust to do the reboot? Do people even care about your product enough to go along with you? Have the people who have been along with you, do they have the spiritual energy to go along with? There's a lot of things before you put pen to paper for the very first time to start your thing. You already got 20 things that are already built-in failure mechanisms. So you got to be careful with those. Most reboots fail. All right. Most reboots fail. That's just medium is very. There are some successes, I know, but if you actually are honest and you go through reboot after reboot after reboot, most reboots fail. DC has had several failed reboots. So there you go. With Aquaman and Wonder Woman, origin movies were unexpected billion-dollar movies with Snyder's casting choices, but the old regime was trying to sabotage everything Snyder. Yeah. There is no Aquaman without Zack Snyder or Wonder Woman. Aquaman, both of those movies appeared in his first 2 movies. I mean, you know, and then you had BVS. I mean, come on. So yeah, and that's why I always say if they would have enjoyed it and just kept their upward trajectory, they would have been through it already. So there you go. All right, anybody got any non? Hey, listen, guys, I'm answering your guys' questions, but these shows are for you to dictate where we go with this. We don't have to talk Snyder. We don't have to talk James Gunn. We don't have to talk any of that. We talk, you know, Dave's pulling up your questions. So if you want to talk about something else, all I'm doing is answering your questions. But it's not a dominant topic. There's no dominant topic tonight. I mean, we went over Royal Rumble. I gave it a C. We'll talk probably The Last of Us because I put that in the thumbnail. I'm looking forward. I cannot wait to get home and watch the episode 3. You know what? I can't wait to watch the first fucking 5 minutes of Last of Us because that's where the show really like says, "Oh shit, I'm about to dive into something." All right, the first 5 minutes of the first 2 episodes are like, wow. I mean, damn, you know, and then it sets the tone. So. All right, let's see. Original battle. Ripper? It's actually growing. It's actually growing. Being rained out has actually added some dimensions to our project and added some people. I got a little bit more help. So it's going to be bloodier. I got some more fake organs to spread around the plaza. I have some extra victims that might be. We have some more decoy victims now that might be Ripper victims, but they're not, and they're going to add nuances to it. So yeah, it's actually with more time. We're actually adding to it. What's the comic books of the month? Oh, dude.
What's your things that you're reading right now? What are you saying?
Let's see what I'm reading. Detective. The ones that come out right, you know, the top of mind for me are all the Batman titles. Human Target. Daredevil. I've fallen off with the X-Men. That they're going a different direction in that what was the Hickman storyline. So I haven't been keeping up on it too much.
Sins of Sinister is coming out. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and then they had the Bishop storyline. Death Dealer.
Like I said, the what I've read recently was
I'm trying to look at my counter from here, and it's really hard.
I've read the House by the Lake, Nice House by the Lake.
Oh yeah, I remember I pulled all those out.
Something's Killing the Children has been really good.
Oh, that's good. Anything from Boom Studios right now is hot.
Because of you, I've gotten into DC Black Label. That's your fault.
Oh, it's good shit, man. It's good stuff. I mean,
I've started reading Dark Knights of Steel.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I'm reading that.
I actually went back to start reading like all the Dark Knights death metal and all that. I went back to start at the start of it because I didn't get in on the start of that, and I'm running all the way through it. It's crazy.
Okay, that's good.
Dude, the Dark Knights multiverse stuff, like the Dark multiverse, Tales of the Dark Multiverse.
Yeah, the stuff that started with Metal.
Dude, the alternate Death of Superman story where Lois takes on the power of the Eradicator.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
Also, Deceased. Read Deceased too if you get a chance.
Oh, I haven't read Deceased yet.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It's a little bit better than Marvel Zombies. All right, so all right, what up, William? Jose, hey, long time. I haven't seen you around in a long time. I thought you may be in witness protection. You know, like you always say, it's a 4-year plan. Gunn is on a 4-year contract. Good luck. Yeah, I'm going to hear about this 10-year plan, but like I said, Gunn is on a 4-year contract with a team option. And like I said, I'm not rooting for him to fail. It's just that, like I said, you have to. Everybody's got to understand that you put your fan base through a lot and made it easy to walk away. I just hope that he makes it easier to walk towards. Yellowstone has to be the best show.
It's a good show. Yellowstone.
I don't watch
and
it.
1888 and 1923, which are the prequel shows, are really
Harrison
good
Ford.
too. 1923 has Harrison Ford. 1888 had Sam Elliott.
Okay, and I have Paramount Plus. I probably should.
Really good shows. You have to catch the show. Yellowstone's on Peacock right now, the main show. The prequel shows are on Paramount Plus. So to catch Yellowstone, the modern section of the story, you have to go to Peacock for new episodes.
The original Battlestar Galactica was cheesy, but yeah, but you know what? 6-year-old me, it was the whole fucking world, man.
Oh, dude, yes.
You know, when the Imperious leader, when the original, before Baltar took over, when it was just the Imperious.
Dude,
I remember going to Universal Studios and they had the Battlestar Galactica ride. I mean, and they didn't have good toys back then.
Do you
They
remember
had toys, but they weren't good.
When they actually found Earth?
Oh no, okay, let's not. I went to a psychiatrist and had that erased from my mind. Battlestar in 1980 was fucking horrible. They canceled that. They canceled that like during a commercial break. But and it is weird when I look back on Battlestar Galactica, it didn't last 2 years, and it seems like it lasted forever. And Buck Rogers, because Glenn A. Larson, his job was to create garbage and throw it up against the wall, and if it stuck, he made it better. You know, and if and then, but if it didn't, they didn't say, "Oh, that's a failure." You know, we got 2 years out of that. That's great. What else you got? He created so many shows in the 80s, and very few of them had long runs. Knight Rider, A-Team. I used to love the A-Team. I used to have the opening line of the A-Team memorized. You know, and
yeah,
I'm like,
me too.
And now military me looks back on the A-Team and like, bullshit, but it was fun. Because, okay, you keep bringing Murdoch out of that institution every episode. Why don't they increase the security? You keep escaping. And you're letting that crazy fool fly the helicopter all the time? And BA. And remember they always had to drug BA to get on the helicopters or a plane?
Yeah.
They would always sneak something into his drink, or they would give him something or chloroform him or something like that because he was afraid to fly. I love that show, man. I love that show. George Papard, man. You know, DC is in panic mode, man, every several years, yeah. Like I said, I want old man Superman movie. You know what? You may get that. Like I said, if James Gunn comes out Monday and gives me something leaning towards Kingdom Come, that's all I'm going to talk about. If I even hear him utter Kingdom Come or Cavill in the same sentence, that's the show on Monday for me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is that. Now it's like that's. I'm going to be in tears in my eyes. All right, Jose. Okay, so wow, where am I at? So I'll let you. Are you? Oh, there's a bum out here arguing with another bum over trash. I mean, dude, there's another dumpster. There's like 2 dumpsters. I guarantee you guys, there's nothing special in that dumpster. That's not in the other dumpster. This is a territorial thing. Wow, drugs are a powerful thing. Maybe somebody threw their drugs in the dumpster or something. I don't know. All right, so let me sit down. I'm gonna ignore your comments. I'm just gonna. I'm like, all right, you ban me next time I see you. Well, I didn't know your comment. Did I? Did he say anything else, or am I just behind?
I think you're behind.
Yeah, I got your comment. You're gonna ban me anytime anyway. Next time I'm in there, I can't wait till I get in a room where I'm an admin and you come in. I'm gonna get your ass. Bam.
Bam.
All right, Jumper. Let's see. Do you think James Gunn could purposely announce that he wasn't using Cavill as Superman so that the backlash settled over time, hoping people would forget? If he comes out and says he has a future plan for Batman, he shut me up. Or not Batman, Superman, because all I want them and to increase their odds of success is to resolve what is there. You know, I'm ready for your new thing, dude. I'm ready. I'm open to it. I think that you decrease your odds for success by not having a transition. Plus, I think they hurt the overall product by having this broken mess here. Because, like I said, new people are going to happen upon the Snyderverse. It is there. It is in movies. It's on TV. It's in social media. It's in physical media. It's on HBO Max. So when they happen upon the product, make sure it's a complete product that you can, even if you're not going to continue it. That cohesiveness and lineage goes throughout all of DC. And that's one thing DC has never done. They have never used the strength of their entire lineage. No matter what version of any of these superheroes happen, they share a direct lineage. Superman, every Superman you'll ever see in your lifetime has a direct lineage all the way back to Simon and Schuster, some different form. Everything Batman from now all the way back for 85 years has a direct lineage to Finger and Kane. All right. And they don't use lineage. And when they get some people that do, they, oh, it's too dark, it's too this. I'm like, I want somebody in that seat who understands the core of what it is to be DC. I think James Gunn is that guy. I wish he got off to a better start. I wish they would have handled this better. But I really think once he gets past that rocky, turbulent, if his ideas are good, I think he's going to succeed. His odds are not good, but good people make bad odds good. It's like, All right. Do you think? Okay, so good. All right. I'll turn it back over to you now. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure because some people were targeting me there.
Yeah, it's just mostly people talking amongst themselves, really.
All right, cool. So, William, maybe
you threw one of your Gigantor burgers in a dumpster. You're gonna cause a bum war.
Let me. Speaking of burgers, I didn't get a burger tonight from Sister Kim's, but let me show you what I did get. Ah! Let's see. I got tired of fries, so I got onion rings.
And what is that thing you've got there? What is that?
This is a po' boy combo.
Is that shrimp po' boy or
with fish, pastrami, coleslaw?
Oh, boy.
It's a seafood po' boy.
Oh boy. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
And this weighs. My hands are huge, and this weighs good. This is going to feel great going down. That's dinner after the show. Once again, Vegas, if you're in Vegas and you visit me, you must visit Sister Kim's. I made a video commercial for them that I got in my hard drive at the house. I'm going to start adding it to our, to our intros, our drops. Because like I said, you come to Vegas, I'm going to walk you down to Sister Kim's. All right. I talked about casting Superman with Enoch, and both him and I agreed that there's no reason to recast Cavill, as Gunn was going to recast someone close to the age of Cavill. Yeah, because his story, he's saying, oops, onion ring came out of my mouth, is based on a younger Superman. And he's not an old man, but if you're going to give me a Superman, I understand that. I'm totally okay with that. I am here for your new Superman. Just resolve this one first, or at the same time, or concurrently. Like I said, I don't know what he's going to say on Monday or Tuesday. He may say that he's giving a resolution. Like I said, it doesn't have to be my resolution. I just want a resolution for the cohesiveness of the product, because I think you're stepping on a landmine when you start this way. Anyone who says it fails is an idiot. I'm not looking for Gunn's plans to fail. I think the odds are against him, though. Let's be realistic. He can succeed. He's one of those alpha males that can succeed. But he's coming into a situation where many of the situations that could hurt his situation were not even of his making. You have the last 5 years. You have Superman not being on the big screen for 5 years, so your brand trust is gone. You have a connected Batman that hasn't been on any screen for 5 years. All right. You effort and resources into Polka Dot Man and Huntress and Birds of Prey, and we're going to do things like, the Wonder Twins and something like that. Those things will all be successful in time. You've made movies like Shazam, and go back to that real quick. You've made movies like Shazam and Black Adam, movies that doesn't matter how great you think these movies are. The general public is not gravitating to these movies unless you put the main players in. And he's just throwing them out there. They release these movies in lieu of Superman, in lieu of Batman, in lieu of the Trinity. All right, so you've had 5 years of that. you've had the reputation of what went on, and even now the general public understands, not just us kooks. The general public understands what went on with Zack Snyder. All right, and so before James Gunn even stepped in, those odds are stacked against him. Another thing that's stacked against him is that he's starting over. And whenever you start over in the middle of what anybody is in the middle of, you are invalidating the time that they've spent. So I don't think anybody will be if you're rooting against them, that's just dumb. But if you understand the reality of his situation, that's not foolishness. That's just math. That's just reality. That's just look at the product. Look what he's stepping into. So I give him 40, 60 odds. Now, if he comes in with that great campaign and lays it all out and and just blows me away, like I said, right now the odds are 40-60. Those can change. If he comes in and says, Cavill, Momoa, these guys, we're giving you one last movie, one last story with them on HBO Max, that's going to be we're going to age them out, and that's going to be it. Is that giving me my resolution to the Nightmare storyline? No, but you're resolving the characters. You've increased those odds. If he comes in and says, you know what, we're going to use the Flash to go in a new direction, but we're going to do the multiverse, and eventually, once we get our footing, we will come back and tell those stories and rope those stories up. Those increase your odds because you're engaging the whole of your fandom. So you're not a fool. No one's a fool thinking you would be a fool if you didn't realize the reality of the situation he is inheriting. That would be foolish. All right. So where are we at? Hold on. I'm going to go back and we can go back to you forth. But yeah, I just want to have that on the screen. So no, I'm not looking for anybody's plans to fail. I'm understanding the reality of the situation he's walking into. Remember, we've been around this situation since 2013. The general public is looking at DC like that's missing a bunch of pieces, and that it's not even worth working to put together. So he's got that perception. That's not his fault, but he's stepping into the job. It's like a captain that takes over a Navy ship that has been run into the ground and has bad moral standards and is in disrepair. He's being handed the mission to get this ship up to top notch and get it going, and you got this amount of time to do it. The odds are against that guy. He walks into an unfathomable situation, but the Navy's going to say, we want this fixed. So you also have to understand that even though we're dealing with a different regime, we're no longer dealing with Hamada and all these other guys. Shareholders are shareholders. They still want the same thing they wanted previously. They're going to want money, and they're going to want a high return. So there's pressure put on his project, fairly or unfairly, to not with us fans, because we don't get the last say. If the movies don't reach a certain, if they have set expectations reasonably, that increases the odds. But if they have set bullshit expectations, and you got to realize these are stockholders who just put a lot of money into a company that has $40-some billion in debt. So every dollar that they have, that they earn, is being basically taxed at 30-something% to pay back a debt. That's why we're going through all this. So they're not fanboys, but they have the power to pull the plug on any of this. If he comes out with a movie and it doesn't make some goofy expectations, he's got that going against him. So before James Gunn even releases a syllable from his slate, he's got reality up against him. I'm looking for him to fail. I think even with everything that I just listed for you, he can still succeed. But it's got to be good. You got to give me Mozart and Beethoven. You got to give me Scorsese. And that's not fair. That's not overall fair. Ordinarily, you come into something, you should get time. That's on a Hallmark card. Just give them time and make great movies. That is fuckery that you put on a Christmas card. In reality, shareholders want those dividends. They want that profit. They want that money. They want that debt paid off. So he's coming in. I remember a couple Saturday nights ago, I had a picture of a guy pushing a boulder uphill. That's James Gunn's situation before he even releases anything. That is reality. That's not me looking for him to fail. I gain nothing by James Gunn failing. I want to have conversations beyond Monday that are about, wow, did you hear what he said? I can't wait for that. But foolishness would be not recognizing the reality of that situation. All right, Chabby, any chance this to sell Snyder versus Netflix? The odds were slim on that way. It was interesting. They should. I think they could if they wanted to. I think, like Dave's Film Junkie said, Amazon would be much better because Amazon has a lot more money to sit on, and Amazon actually does a better job of, they actually have the revenue built in to advertise something on several different levels. And you know, whereas Netflix's business model is just not necessary for that. I think there's a way, and I explained it over and over again, that it could do it, but I think the idea falls apart of Netflix to do so. And once again, that's dependent upon what James Gunn is doing in his characters. If James Gunn is going to come out with a logical tie, a bow to put on this universe to wrap it up, then it's the necessity for Netflix to do it is not there. So we have to see what he comes out with first. All right, next one.
Hold on.
Still there? Okay, let me go. All right. Los Palos Hermanos, don't know what that is.
Okay, so 2025 is when the first movie would come out. This being generous, to be honest, though.
Yeah, because so his first movie, if it's Superman, he's admittedly said, I don't have the script done, and that's why I haven't announced an actor. Usually I get the script done and announce an actor. All right. So say we got another 5 to 6 months of that process. And then you got to get everybody together, and then you got another 3 months of pre-production. Then you got the actual production, and principal filming is another year. That puts us into 2025 right there. And then post-production, and especially if it's high VFX, yeah, you could be talking 2025, possibly 2026. And that's where, in my opinion, the movies that are pre-existing that are coming out, if it were me, I would use those movies as tools to not only wrap up what has gone before, but to wrap up what is coming. I hope that's what happens. Like I said, I don't, it's not the case. All right, next one. 11:44. Going strong. How many movie shows do you want to release a year? Too many will overwhelm some fans, general audience. I would like 3 to 4. I think there should be a movie every 4 months. 3 the minimum. And 3 of a certain character, and then, like I said, if you're going to do your Justice League, then your next phase 2 is your league and things like that. I would say right now the biggest problem DC has had over the last 5 to 6 years is output, frequency of output. They haven't put out much, and what they have put out hasn't been A-list shit. So I think that problem needs to be solved. 2 would work. I would like to see 3 to 4, but okay, logistically, production-wise, I would say 2. Shows are a little bit different. Shows, depending on what the budgets and what shows they are and kind of supporting shows, you can actually do more shows. And one of the things that he has said that I did like is that he's going to operate on all platforms, TV, video games, all that. So I'm interested to see where he's going to do with that. But I would minimum 2, optimum would be 4. All right, Gunn has never made a cinematic movie in his life, so I trust he won't be directing anything Trinity related. I think he will be directing Superman, and I think it is a must that he directs Superman. This is your ship, dude. And the nuclear engine, the nuclear reactor that runs your vessel is Superman. Everything is going to revolve around Superman. So if you're going to be in control of this universe, it makes sense that you control the most important cog. Other directors can handle the other characters, but Superman, so you need to be directing the guy. That is like you're steering that part of the ship and letting everybody else. But in order to set the tone and the pace of what you expect us fans to see, I think it is a must that he directs the Superman movie, even if he doesn't direct anything else. He has to direct that first one. I don't know what to call you, so I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Since James Gunn said video games will also be part of DCU's continuity, what DC character should be based on a video game off of? Green Lantern. I'm not before I finish your question. I'm sorry, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Green Lantern. Green Lantern. But I'll go ahead and finish. I would love I wouldn't touch Etrigan until way down the line. Game done in the same vein as Darkness 1 and 2. That's fine. I don't know if we're gonna do that like right at the 2. But for me, Green Lantern is the one group of characters that to me makes sense on every level. On every level DC exists on, Green Lantern could be kick ass on all of them, and I could see him using those. I really hope that sooner than later he starts on Green Lantern, and it's his Green Lantern, not that shit that we were going to get before. I want to see. I think James Gunn is capable of all this. I just need him to. We just need to get past this rough patch of bullshit in disorganization. Once we get past that, those 40-60 odds are going to start looking like 50-50, and now 55-45, and now we're going up. So yeah, I would like to, Green Lantern. Green Lantern for me is like I said, I think Green Lantern is the glue to the entire DC universe. Even if Superman is the main trend, the main cog, the Green Lantern they got to be involved in all this. Yeah. Oh wait, this year Shazam, Aquaman, Flash, and Blue Beetle. Yeah, my question going into Monday and Tuesdays is how are these movies going to how are these movies going to lead us to where we're going? Which Green Lantern? All of them. I think when I say Green Lantern, I mean Green Lantern Corps. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't clarify. Green Lantern Corps. I want a galactic epic. When it comes to the Green Lanterns, I want a galactic masterpiece that
I want to see all of the colors. I want to see all of the colors represented.
Eventually, yes. But you start me out with phase 1 with just the core, and then we get on to Blackest Night and we get on to all of those stuff. Because remember, you still got to go through Sinestro if you're going to tell that story. And so yeah, eventually, as we get through, but you have to establish the Green Lanterns as that, because they can be places where your Trinity can't be. And in different ways. So yeah, the Green Lantern Corps, Black Star Afro. Oh yeah, even Stella's like it. All right. Let's see. What do we got? All right. As long as the movies look visually better than Shazam, Black Adam, I have real scores composed by a character. Yeah. And hey, these trailers. Stop using these songs or trailers. I don't need to hear Kanye. Like I said last night, I don't ever want to hear Kanye on a trailer or a superhero trailer again. I don't need Drake for Shazam. You're not stop. I know that's not on the soundtrack. No, that's not putting Drake on that soundtrack. And the song doesn't fit what you're trying to portray. Stop. Use musical scores. All right? Use musical scores. Stop using rap. Stop. Any genre, but stop. All right. All right. Next. Just imagine if MCU had different versions of characters without explaining that is the multiverse. That's where at with the DCU now. All also the Flash can't reboot everything. Aquaman 2. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's one of those things that's gonna, I hope shed light on or give me some indication. I'm ready to just cheer on Monday and be like, wow, okay, you got my attention. All right. I'm ready for him to make me stop forgetting about how this whole Cavill madness happened, how this entire reboot thing has been spread around. I'm ready to never fucking order that garbage again and talk about what you're presenting to me. That's what my hope is for when this stuff gets, because it's going to get leaked out. All right. So yeah, MC wouldn't do that, and to be honest with you, a well-oiled machine wouldn't be doing that. If DC under proper management would be doing that, but they haven't been under proper for a long time, and these new guys are new. They've never ran a studio before. it's a lot of what's going on and how they've handled things is growing pains. So, all right, next. Jeff Johns will want to control Green Lantern, so I know he doesn't have a choice in it. He does not. No, if James Gunn will announce who's going to control Green Lantern. Please ask non-WB Marvel related questions for a few minutes, folks. We have answers from Gunn. A few days more speculation. If we're everything else you like, yeah. I mean, like I said, this is you guys can ask me other stuff. I don't ever want to hear Kanye ever again. Not his music, not his BS. Hey, where's with Doja Cat, by the way? Off topic. That woman was covered from head to toe in jewels, looking like a diamond-coated sleeve stack. What's going on? People with money are doing stupid shit. Broke ass fools like me.
Did you just say a diamond-coated sleeve stack?
Did you see the picture of her? Hold on. You gotta see this shit.
I just think it's funny that the words diamond-coated sleeve stack came out of your mouth.
What the hell? Oh my goodness. What is this? Here's this crazy ass. Hold on. I mean, granted, I gotta find the picture. Because you see this, you're gonna be like, she needs to be in one of our movies that we watch. Jules. Hold on, because I'm looking it up. I mean, like I said, it was some crazy. Nah, I can't find it anywhere. Oh, here we go. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and share this screen because this you got to see this madness. Yes, share screen. All right. Yeah. 30,000 red crystals. This one was covered with.
What the hell?
You see that? What is going on?
What is it? What? Huh?
We're the weirdos for talking comic books and aliens and trolls and orcs and stuff. Get rid of that. What that is head to toe, shoulders, top of her boobs, everything, her hands, everything.
Oh my god.
What in the hell?
What is she? Huh? I don't.
So yeah, Kanye's a weirdo, but and she's not crazy like him, Kanye just doesn't look weird right now. Kanye is weird. She's a normal. I mean, what
am I looking at here? That can't be healthy.
That is Doja Cat. She's a singer, a rapper, and she showed up to. Doja Cat covers her entire body in 30,000 red crystals for a Shalapeli show.
Weird.
A look to remember, I think so. Debuted her most over the top, and she's worn some over the top shit. She comes out damn near naked at the time. Over the top glam to date at the Chappelle Spring Summer 2020, it's a fashion show, during the Hot Couture Monday, January 23rd. The Say-So artist, 27 years old, stepped up in head-to-toe red paint that was then covered with crimson Swarovski crystals. The shimmering jewels adorned every inch of Doja's body, including her eyelids, lips, chest, and arm. The head-turning beat was brought to life by Pat McGrath. Okay, I know who I need to avoid. Who used 30,000 gems via hand application. So somebody sat her down and hand put those things on her. It was an honor to collaborate with the incredibly gifted Doja Cat and Daniel Roseberry on Doja's Inferno look. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so there you go, guys. We're normal compared to certain things, all right?
Jumper says,
We're
yeah,
normal.
you should see the video of her sitting in the front row. Every time she blinked, it freaked him out. And Larry says he's going to start wearing a Superman costume in public. What's the difference?
Why not? You're normal. My Shazam shirt. I'm not an outclass.
Patrick says they'll claim it's art, but it screams, "Hey, look at me." Larry says that's what we call a loon. It's the technical term.
What's the takeoff? I want to see the video where you take that shit off. That had to be oh wow! Just stop. Yeah, that's just a little bit too much for the Geek Daddy there.
Stella says red dye number 40 and what other carcinogens?
Yeah, well, it showed a picture of her putting the paint on her face before the crystals went on. And I'm like, dude, that's a DV. That's like a stream on its own. I want to see the video where she sits down at on her in real time. Yeah, we're definitely more normal as unhinged as we might be. Yeah, that's yeah. I'm looking at that. I'm like,
and of course, exactly. Chappie hits us with a classic. What the hell is that?
I wouldn't be able to sit. Listen. That's why I'm not a science fiction movie. I could not sit in a makeup chair for the long as it takes to apply that shit. Doug Jones is a damn saint for being able.
How long do you think it would take to apply 30,000 red gems to your body?
By hand.
Ballpark by hand.
By hand. That is just not. We're not doing that. That's not on the bucket list, people. All right, what's next? I got to get that out of my head.
Patrick says, William, are you a fan of the Hellraiser films?
Yes, I am a fan of the Hellraiser films.
Did you see the newest one from last year?
Yeah, I liked it. Hold on, I gotta show you guys something. Hold on. Be right back. I'll find it later. I actually have I have this for now, but I have pictures of me and Doug Bradley together because we bought him out to the Sci-Fi Center to do audio commentary for Hellraiser movies. And each year he came out, he would stand on our stage and he would talk about the movie. We would pause it. And then I have this. I'm a huge Hellraiser fan.
I found one of those that actually like does the motions of the box and everything.
Hellbound Horror, which is right down below me, they have that. And it opens up, it turns, opens up, it turns, and it does the little configuration. So it's actually pretty good.
The new Hellraiser is pretty good. Again, Jason, that's more Warner stuff, dude. Come on. we let's talk about some horror here.
What are their thoughts on Jason Kilar? He was real quick bad situation under AT&T ownership. He was in a losing situation no matter what. So next one.
Patrick saying telling Larry pales in comparison to the first two though, but it's pretty good. He's talking about the one from last year. I actually unpopular opinion, I actually like the newest one better than I like the original.
Some people do. It's more of a modern horror movie than Hellraiser is a dated movie. Remember, it's a 34-year-old movie. So,
in my opinion, you got more like the Cenobites became the stars of the show instead of them just being kind of a side thing.
Yeah, they're just the operators of the doorway. All right, it's pretty good, Larry. The pales are okay. So,
the straight to video sequels are fun if you take them as what they are.
Yeah, don't go into these.
Don't go.
And that's coming straight from the mouth of Doug Bradley.
Don't go into those thinking that they're great.
All right. Anybody got is anything else?
There is a Hellraiser TV show coming. It has not been produced yet. Levon says, I was
think we've
crying
done our
at the end of the
course. I was, like,
reboot since so
inclined,
many of the sequels after the 2, or maybe 4, I guess, was either filler or just plain bad. Yeah, 4
like
up to
Deader was horrible.
1 through Deader and Inferno are basically the same. Not Deader, Inferno and Hellseeker are the same movie. Like literally the same movie, just different
Pretty much
different
cardboard.
motivation.
Yep, it is. I have done it, guys. I have shepherded you what was Saturday, January 28th, into another one of the second to last football Sunday, January 29th, 2023. We answered a lot of different questions today. We covered some James Gunn DC stuff, but we covered a lot of other things too. I showed you a diamond encrusted cover woman that you probably weren't expecting to see tonight. Your stuff about Stargate, Doctor Who. Talked a little bit of The Last of Us, talked Royal Rumble. So I think we covered a lot of bases tonight, which is hard to do. The more we stream throughout the week, it gets harder and harder to not rehash the same things we're talking about. So it was good to be able to have people bring up some new stuff. Like I said, you guys dictate what we talk about. We do not have to bring up any DC or Warner Brothers stuff if you don't want to talk about it. I know Monday is going to be different. Monday and Tuesday are going to be different. Those are going to be special days because if things come out on those particular days, then that's actually news. That's actually going to be for the first time in a long time. And my hope and dream is that it is positive stuff that we can use as a jumping off point into better, more positive conversations. So, all right, guys, that is it. Any last words for you, Thade?
No. This next weekend, guys, we should have the guy from Womp Stomp Films coming on to talk about his Friday the 13th fan films. I connected with him. He's more than willing and ready to come on the show. So I've just got to get with him this week, but he should be there Saturday.
Cool. And
beyond that, man, I can't think of much. Last of Us coming. Got a lot of stuff in the pipe. Might start doing, like I said, on my Twitch channel, I might start doing watch parties, and of course, everybody's invited. Beyond that, man, I think we're good.
Yeah, and at any point in time, the Who Blood and Honey guys are going to make some time for me, and when they are, I'm going to be ready. I don't know if we'll be doing it live or it'll be pre-recorded, but whenever they say jump, I'm going to jump. I cannot wait to interview them. So until next time, enjoy Sunday, enjoy the football games, and enjoy The Last of Us.
Larry, I will say this, Larry. Says much love to everyone. I'm off to watch the new Hellraiser. You will weep tears of blood, my friend. You will weep tears of blood. It is such a good movie.
All right, why you got to leave
so
us
good.
With a gross image in our head? But hey, there you go, everybody.
It's Hellraiser. We have such sights to show you, William.
Go cleanse your mind.
I've got to go cleanse my mind. Cat crazy.